Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How you doing today, Will?
I'm doing so good, man. I can't stand it. How are you, Max?
I'm doing great. We're going to go ahead and welcome a few of you guys. Um, we'll try not to do 15 minutes of welcoming, but we'll try to welcome a decent amount of you guys. We're gonna obviously talk about some Ripple XRP. We have a little bit of Stellar for you guys. We have a little bit of Jasmy for you guys. But we're gonna definitely talk about like ISO20022 and basically everything that you see for the most part in this description. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and start welcoming some of you guys. Let's start welcoming some people from the Will Fix side first, and we'll kick it over into Maximus Crypto. We are going to welcome this guy. I can't pronounce your name, but it looks like it says Acna. His name is Acna Casey Mob. There will be no pump sell XRP before it's too late. XRP scam. Buy PayPay. Let's go. XRP $100 to $10,000. November 20th. Boom, boom. Man, that'd be amazing. Let's also welcome Dingy, aka Daniel. He says Proviat Aslan. I'm not, maybe I'm pronouncing some bad things here, so I don't know if I pronounce all that. But good to see you, Mr. Dingy. All right. We also have Tim Shea, who says, hey to Dingy.
What's up, Tim Shea?
Yes. Good to welcome the mayor of crypto, the crypto commissioner, representing the 589th district of XRP Army and his fellow constituents, Will.
Hey, welcome. Hold on, I'm doing something. I'm trying to get where I'm on the video and can see my people. I was on your channel.
Oh. Yeah, go my dirty rotten channel. No kidding. All right,
don't look at your dirty rotten people.
Yeah. on your, welcome your kind around here. No kidding. Miami, the Dodge camper event. Obviously, XRP won't go up until I'm not even reading that. Won't go up in value until XRP is in the liquidity pools of the upcoming AMM. So be patient, says Jason. So welcome, Miami, the Dodge camper van. Glad to have you here tonight. We also have a couple more people from your side of things. Hamza Makarabi, he says, yo, yo, yo. And Miami, the Dodge camper van. So glad you started. It's 2 a.m. in the UK now. And then Patrick Collier says, good to see you, brother Will.
Good to see you, sir.
All right. We also got Edgu71 Egg. He says, hello from Texas.
What's up?
All right. Let's go ahead and kick it over to the Maximus Crypto side of things. We already read some of these comments. I'm going to see about welcome somebody who I haven't welcomed. Obviously, always good to see Tim Shea. I just want to highlight your comment. Simon Greco, good to see you, man. Notification set. See you guys later. Hopefully, I'm awake. Oh, that was at 1:39 today. Wow. All right, so I'm reading some early comments here. We also have Legendary. It was nice seeing you guys' show the other day. And thank you for the warm welcome. And yeah, let's see here. We also got Brittany. Good to see you, Miss Brittany. She says, happy Thursday. Good to see you, Brittany.
There's my wife, everybody. There's Anne-Marie Fix.
Oh, she's in the comments?
I must recognize her.
All right, let me go.
Look at that beautiful face. See?
There she is. Hello, Anne-Marie. Good to see you, Anne-Marie. Here's a dab from Phoenix, Arizona. All right. Let me catch back up here for just a second. We'll get rapid fire into some of this. I mean, it's only going to be maybe another 4 minutes of welcoming people. We also got the one and only Dan DeBlack. Good to see you, a.k.a. Danilo, a.k.a. Mr. Yer. He always says that, Yer. All right. You're getting tatted as we speak, watching the show. Interesting.
Wow.
All right. Yeah. Let's also welcome Gerald. Good to see you again, Gerald. Appreciate you, man. The monkey is loose. All right. Or the chimp. I don't know. What is that? Chimp, monkey, regular monkey? I don't know.
It's a baby one.
Yeah. Channing Harral. Hopefully I pronounced it right. Hey, you good evening, guys. Thank you, Channing. Thank you for all the nice things you've been saying lately on the Maximus Crypto channel. I actually went over to your channel, curious to see what kind of, because I saw that you had a channel. You had a very good video you put together. I commented on that. I don't think you should give it up, man. You got a great personality and positive vibes, and that's a really good thing. Glad to have you here tonight. All right, let's just rapid fire go through a few more, and we'll kick it right into the outline. Hamza, I welcome you early. Glad to see you're here. Let's have Bob O. Hi from the Hoosier State of Indiana. Jim Miller, good evening, guys.
What's up, Jim?
And this guy, you don't want to get no scope headshot 360 across the map from this guy. This is Fluffy Fluff in the banana hammocks, the one only. Quant up 27% in the past week on Coinbase. Kind of funny how, that worked out. Pretty cool stuff. Glad you pointed out. Welcome, Mr. Darren Crumblesome, aka Fluffy Fluff in the banana hammocks. That's got to be a name of a band somewhere. I'm telling you, Will.
It should be.
Yeah, it should be. I agree.
Martin saying, hello, crypto billionaires.
Right?
That's right, my brother.
Yeah.
We're in it to win it.
Yes, indeed. All right. We got Humble Servant. It says, evening all. Welcome. Glad to have you. And Crypto Professor Max 589. Thank you. Welcome again to Anne Marie. We have Will Fix. Welcome, everybody. Martin is in the house. Welcome back. It's going to, again, just make like a couple minutes, and that's it. Subrider.
Yeah, David Mitchell's there.
To have you. All right, let's read an actual comment. Humble Servant says he knows we were talking about flipping the switch, but I wanted to know if we could take about 5-10 minutes to talk about GBEX. Finally bought in today. I don't own any GBEX. It's one of those ones that's still on my list for the longest time. I'm just trying to allocate more funds on stacking what I currently have. But I do think GBEX is solid. It's part of that XDC ecosystem. I think XSwap is solid. When we saw the big pumps of the past for XDC, like XSwap and so on, GBEX and XSwap definitely stood out. So, and who was it? Like Cool Cat Crypto and some of the guys have pointed out that it was just a nice steady incline over the last year. So that's a good thing. And I think if you did staking, it's not too shabby with GBEX. Do you have GBEX, Will?
No.
It's okay. All right. Yeah, I don't know if we get into 5 or 10 minutes, but nonetheless, I'm glad you brought it up, and glad to see you're diversified, Humble Servant. And again, welcome. All right, we also got ADHD. It's Thirsty Thursday. I have an icon for that. I was thinking about making that. I'll make it next Thursday. Thirsty Thursday, and I need some of that crypto Kool-Aid. Thank you. All right, Anne-Marie says, hi, Max. Thanks, Anne-Marie. All right. I think we're just going to read this one more, and we're going to kick it right in. So, Z to the U, keep your damn hands off my wife. Name that movie. Oh, isn't that a Chevy Chase movie? I don't know. I can't think of it now. All right. Does that ring in any bells for you, Will?
No.
That's okay.
I thought of Will Smith. He said,
oh, yeah. That's
out of your mouth. Yeah.
Yeah. Look how that worked out, right?
Did you ever see how that was just a kind of a replay of an actual movie scene?
Really?
Yeah. There was a movie and the same words, somebody coming out of the audience, same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you never know, man. It's kind of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So currently speaking, we're off to a good start. We got about roughly 40 people on Will Fix's side, 20 over here, and we have about 67 total. So let's just get right into what we have tonight. We're going to start things off with the report from Crypto Geek. And on this particular one, we'll probably play about 5 minutes of it, do a pause, do some comments, come back into it. Maybe we play the whole thing. It just depends. And let's go ahead and put this up on your screen for you guys, and might even put up an icon in regards to Ripple. Give me just a second. All right, yeah, here it is. Basically, it is the beloved Ripple icon, XRP actually. So let's just go ahead and share this. And here it is. BlackRock analyst reports a price of $49.32 per XRP. Now, for a
Wow.
lot of us, yeah, right. Will, it's like, this is a little bit of hopium that we were talking about earlier.
Take it. Let's take a hit. Let it kick in. Hold it good. Don't waste it. That sounds pretty good, doesn't it? $49. Just think about it a minute. Times how many of your coins? Me and Anne Marie added it up this morning. It was a lot of my millions of dollars for us.
Well, the whole thing is, you've been doing that thing with your spreadsheet and so on. So do you want to just take a moment to talk about that for a bit before we kick it into the video?
Yeah, we can look at it if you want to see it.
Yeah, what I'll do is after you show that spreadsheet, we'll go ahead and kick it into this little video. Do you have a share of that spreadsheet? Okay.
Yeah, I have nothing on it, but that's okay. We can look at it with a. Let me see here. Okay, well, it's an Excel sheet. How would I put it on here? Let's see. I don't see it showing up in the on the menu.
Oh shucks. Okay.
Separate window.
Yeah, you can do hold on a second. You could do a present, and then you could do a share screen.
Okay, yeah.
And then you could do entire screen is the thing you want to do. At first, it looks like an endless tunnel of will fixes, but that's how you do it. So, and then after done sharing that, we'll get into that thing with BlackRock. We're just giving you guys a little teaser before we get more into that. Or if you want to share it a little bit later, we can do that and we can just jump into the video.
Just chill out. I know that you're extremely efficient and you're working with a raw dog here. All right. Can everybody see that?
Yeah. You know what? Let's full screen it. So I'm going to take some branding off. We won't, they won't be able to see us, but the emphasis needs to be on the chart. So I'm going to have us come out of the frame and we'll go ahead and explain it. Go for it.
All right. You got full screen there?
Yes,
all
sir.
right. So basically, everybody knows how they figured the coin. If you look over here, if everybody can see my mouse on the top left, the market cap divided by the coin equals the price, right? So if we put here, let's put here Swift, the Swift system, and money sent for 2022. What do they send? 5 trillion a week, did they say, or a day? There's 5 trillion a day.
That's a day.
Times, what is 5 trillion times 250?
Oh, jeez, you really put me on the moment, or on the spot, aren't you?
Let's see. Well, it'd be 250 times 5, which would be 1.25 quadrillion. Is that right?
I could pull up a calculator that does it the long way if you want.
Sure.
Okay, second.
Well, it would be 250. Let's see. A trillion a day. Yeah, that would be 250 trillion if it was 1 trillion. So if it was 5, then it would be 1.25 quadrillion. So let's do 1 to 50. Then that would be quadrillion. That's trillion, billion.
So 9 zeros is a billion. That's how I remember.
So this is 250 trillion, billion, million, 100,000, thousand. Is that right? Is that right, everybody? Yeah, because this would be 100,000. That would be million, billion, trillion, quadrillion.
There you go, right?
So if we did that with the Swift system, that would take the price up to right at $100.
And that's just off Swift.
Yeah. Now, if it's 365 days that they send, then you divide it by a bigger number, so it would make it $65. But just the Swift system would be $94.34. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, super. Because
And then,
it shows the capability of where it can go.
yeah, that's nothing. Like if you started getting into tokenization, you could start figuring out some of the figures and take a percentage of how much uh, Ripple may get of that. Blah 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 blah. But these banks that have signed up, I had those in there in the example on the video. I had those banks that have signed up. They just signed up Santander. It by itself will raise XRP at the lowest 7 cents, and that's just the money they're sending, not receiving. The reason I did that is they'll be sending it by XRP. You don't have to have a contract with XRP to receive the money, because we learned that the other day. They'll have exchanges that will have partnerships with businesses that don't get XRP, that they'll get it. That money will go to an exchange, and then through probably an API to the exchange to the other company, then it'll just seamlessly route straight over. But anyway,
Right.
that's why I only did the send money. But the money that's being sent to them is likely to be several companies. So when I add Santander, I'm just saying, if the minimum 7, that's the minimum of 7 cents. And then I think it went up to 10 cents. And that's just that one company. I think that's interesting.
Yeah, no doubt is. I mean, somebody else pointed out on Crypto X, if we did 1% of Swift, it was like, I don't know, $16 for like an XRP or something like that.
Yeah.
Which was like, and then you add up all the other ones you were talking about and so on. I mean,
1,700 contracts.
Yeah, we're going to get to that part here in a bit too. I got to make a brief announcement real quick. We want to always acknowledge certain people. So basically, we did have a gifted membership from Henry Brown. It was gifted to Cheeks. So thank you so much to Henry Brown for doing that. And we also want to say thank you and say congratulations to Cheeks. I saw a few more people connect, like Proud to be a Simp, Cool Cat Crypto. Glad to have you here, Stargazer. Just trying to see a few names that popped up real quick. Boomer F. Sooner. Yeah, it's the one and only Mr. Boomer F. Sooner. And then we also have
William Meredith from Ontario, Canada.
There you go. Tyler Chris. Good to see you too.
Raising Arizona.
That ain't me.
That? Oh, Z to the U. I'm sorry, I was reading the wrong. What's up, Z to the U?
And we got Jack Thompson from Tucson, Arizona. Glad to have you back, Jack. All right, so we're going to do, and also the one and only Mr. Corey Bibe, a.k.a. Jasmy not a scam.
He says and Yolanda Taylor and James Benhart. What's up?
Yes, yes.
Word is there are 2 XRP ledgers. The fake one states XRP price. Well, there's one ledger, from what I understand. You might be talking about public and private. Can I explain that real quick?
Yeah, you don't have to ask permission, man. Go for it.
Okay. Well, you had something ready to go. I didn't want to.
That's okay. Yeah, no problem.
Pop your chi bubble.
It's all good.
All right, man. So the only thing the private ledger does is put a wall around some of the coin, and that's only for CBDC currencies. The wall around the coin is only a privacy wall. It has no barrier of price. And if you look on my channel, I put a very short video. It's David Schwartz answering that question directly. Is there a difference between the public and private price of XRP? The answer is no. And basically what he says if you had a price difference, you'd have somebody buying on one side and selling on the other. And, it's an arbitrage difference, and you just become super rich, and it makes no sense. Like the price of gold, you can't have the price of gold have several prices. If you do, it's a momentary thing, and it all ends up balancing itself. But he said the only way that would ever happen if there was something wrong and people would right away go to fix it. So the price is the price. The CBDC currencies too, just as an added thought, if you think about taking on a nation's currency, you have, you remember, if for those of you who didn't know, the picture that I drew, the mental picture. I'm taking mental pictures of you right now. Okay. The mental picture of how XRP inflates in price. It's based on use. If you had 5 garden hoses that were half-inch garden hoses, and they went in all together and came to one hose, let's say it was an inch, but it was extremely flexible inch. Well, you could turn one hose on and it's no problem. You could turn 2 on and it's no problem. But as soon as that, so that's what we've had with XRP lately. It's not affected the price a whole lot. But as soon as you turn the 3rd hose on, that center hose is going to swell up. So the price is going to get bigger because it's more throughput. You turn all the hoses on, then the price has to go up to accommodate the flow. And the flow, if you look at the number of coin, there's tons of those coins that are staked, that you and I own, that are not usable because we're holding them. So they're not in circulation, so to speak. Think of this. There's only a $29.6 billion market cap. The SWIFT moves $1 trillion a day. There's not enough coin. There's not enough coin to take care of that. Some of these banks move that much a day. So there's not even enough XRP. So that's why the price has to go up. And then the price doesn't just go up according to the number of coin divided by the amount of money, because there's only a portion of the coin that's left for circulation. So it's going to be, it'll turn out to be an exponential number. And the first thing they will do is allow the price to go up. Why? Because everybody benefits. It draws investors. It pays the investors. It makes it look good. The second thing that they will do, as it's really getting bigger and bigger, I think around the, if it's approaching a $10,000 XRP in the future price, they'll start adding coin and probably they'll have an algorithm that will allow it to step up over time, adding a little coin here, a little coin. Well, that's still out. That's still out for debate, and then we'll learn that anyway. So no, there's not a difference in price.
Well said.
Take it away, Max.
Well, this is silly, but I guess I'll read this because he did gift a membership. So shout out to Patrick Collier. What the heck? I'll just let you read that, Will.
No.
All right. So with that said,
what is that?
Oh, it's just a joke he does. Anyway.
Okay. All right.
So what is it? We got a gifted membership. There was that. I also want to welcome Valentino Daxon. Hey, what up, guys? Hey, glad to have you here, man. Let's also welcome Salamander XTC Commander. Appreciate you.
Salamander. Is that the Excelsior?
Who?
The ship.
Oh yeah.
It's not that, or is it a new Enterprise?
I don't think that's the Enterprise, man. That's a different one.
Could be.
Looks like from Deep Space Nine. I think that's why he was, people used to say Salamander in space. Now he's Salamander XTC Commander. He's been there for a while, though. Good to see you, though, Salamander. I also want to thank Z to the U. Thanks for doing this live. You're welcome. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right. So there was a gifted membership. There was another one. We're just going to highlight that for a second. It is from, I believe it's from Patrick Collier. Let me just highlight that real quick. Maybe I'm reading it wrong. Okay, it's not for Patrick Collier. All right, so we read that one from Henry Brown. Sorry about that. I just read it wrong. Maybe it was because of that mudblood thing.
I like his attitude. That's right.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to get back into what we have. Check it out, and this is a nice little video for you guys. So let's pull this up. I believe it comes from... Yeah, Crypto Geek. And on this one, we'll probably play most of it. I don't know. We'll see. At least 5-6 minutes of it. It's pretty good stuff. again, back to what we originally reported. BlackRock analyst reports a price of $49.32 per XRP. He posted this on the 18th.
You know what? You know what they must have? They must have Will Fix's price estimator.
Well, they made this before you came out with that, man. So
yeah, well, maybe I had it a while. Oh no,
that's all right.
Maybe.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and play this. That's all right. Have some fun, right? Anyway,
I'm going to.
Yeah, we're gonna play this for at least 5-6 minutes, something like that, and then we'll come back, have some of the Will Fix takeaway. Here's some of you guys' comments as well. Here we go.
A prominent director and analyst of BlackRock, one of the largest and richest investment firms to exist, has publicly come out and confirmed $49.32 per XRP by December 31st of 2023 at the latest. This comes at a crucial time where multiple leaked reports have unveiled the fact that both BlackRock and JP Morgan have been working together to accumulate XRP quietly without really getting the public's attention. In fact, in the leak report, which appeared to have come from an anonymous insider within JP Morgan, revealed that the banking giants have quietly accumulated more than 7.5% of their total wealth in XRP. This is a significant revelation as it showcases JP Morgan's and BlackRock's confidence in the potential of XRP as a long-term investment. It's also worth noting that both JP Morgan and BlackRock have not officially confirmed this report, adding to the element of intrigue to their involvement with XRP. It's also crucial to emphasize that BlackRock's potential entry into the XRP market is significant considering the company's reputation for making strategic and well-informed investment decisions. While BlackRock has not made an official announcement regarding the XRP intentions, the mere mention of its interest in this digital asset carries substantial weight within the crypto industry. And all of this comes at a sudden time where the ISDA, or the International Settlement Derivatives Association, welcomes Ripple Labs as a member of their elite global derivatives trade body. And if we do some research, there are a few members that are also a part of that, such as JP Morgan, BlackRock, Goldman Sachs, BNY Mellon, and the London Stock Exchange. These are crucial because, once again, it emphasizes the internal elite connection between JP Morgan, BlackRock, and Ripple Labs, which actually owns, built, and is continuing to use XRP. But what does that actually mean? Well, as Ripple joins the ISDA, they're expected to claim shares of over $1.2 quadrillion within the derivatives market. This is substantial, as if all of this money was being facilitated through Ripple Labs, through the RippleNet system, we are going to see this all go through the XRP ledger. If we look at the back end of how the RippleNet system works, basically, it facilitates the on-demand liquidity portion using the XRP ledger, which uses the XRP cryptocurrency. It is crucial to understand that as more utility gets added into the RippleNet system and as more money and value flows into the ledger, automatically the demand of XRP as a cryptocurrency skyrockets. With the decrease in the supply due to burns, we are going to see a high value XRP. So when we look at, even $49.32 as per the BlackRock analyst, which again, it is so crucial to understand that this comes at a very pinnacle point in time, we are not shocked because $49.32 on the large scheme of things is actually nothing and is rather dirt cheap. Now, before I jump straight into it, I want to announce that I'm hosting a massive XRP giveaway, and it's quite easy to enter. Just 3 simple steps. Tap that like button, subscribe to the channel with your post notifications on, and share this video. Once you've done that, you'll be entered, and let's jump right into the juicy content. The fact of the matter is that the value of XRP is very undermined right now, but this is soon to change because even the XRP whales are starting to see massive movement happening, with whales beginning to move their XRP following a Ripple IPO rumor resurfacing. This comes at a crucial time where a Ripple IPO is closer than ever due to multiple meetings happening between the Ripple Labs company, Congress, and even the SEC. This is all set to take place within a short period of time, with multiple people predicting between 2 and 3 months. During this time, we could see a possible Ripple IPO, a settlement between Ripple and the SEC, and so much more, all increasing to the value of the XRP native token. In fact, on Tuesday, an XRP whale made a massive move by transferring 409 million XRP, valued at around $200 million, to an undisclosed but recently activated new wallet. The transactions flagged by Whale Alert occurred on October 17 and was sent from Dutch cryptocurrency exchange Bitvavo, and it included a transaction fee of 20 XRP, equivalent to approximately $9.84 USD. And the thing that makes it more interesting and makes me believe that we're going to hit $40 or $50 is the fact that it's not just BlackRock, their analysts, that have predicted that number. Wells Fargo has also predicted $500 per XRP within the next 3 to 7 months. It's quite substantial here when you get multiple multinational institutional analysts, managers, directors, whatever it may be, predicting prices in the hundreds of dollars within certain periods of time. One that tells you it's going to hit $15 at the beginning, and the one that tells you it's going to hit $500 at the end. If you do the math, it correlates perfectly to kind of match together. And so when you get multi-institutions, multiple of these guys, something is happening in the background. Is it an IPO? Is it a settlement? Something is going on, but we're not exactly sure what it is. Even an AI analyst has added on to this. When you get Chat GPT coming out and saying 550 cents by 2024, surpassing Ethereum as the price of XRP, well, again, something is going on. Specifically right here where it labels, this is a list of the top 5 cryptocurrencies guaranteed to increase 100,000% by 2024. Highlights XRP, Ripple, Bitcoin, BTC, Ethereum, ETH, Cardano ADA, Rencom Network, RNT. Now there's something special between XRP and RNT, and we're going to jump right into that. So if you guys don't know, RNT is run by a company called the Rencom Network, similar to how Ripple runs XRP. The Rencom Network has designed and uses the RNT coin. They use it as the rental asset protocol system that they have developed, where basically their renters of the Rencom Network have to pay in the RNT coin. It's the only method of payment, meaning that if you want to rent one of their houses, if you want to rent a car that they own, you have to go ahead and buy the RNT coin and send it to them because it's more efficient for them to claim as rent. But what makes this extremely impressive is the RNT token and the value of this coin, as well as the very low supply and the real life use case of it. What is so impressive is, to top this all off, RNT is getting bridged onto the XRP ledger. But let's talk about what RNT coin in and of itself is crucial for. Number one, RNT is brand new. So when we talk about a relatively new cryptocurrency, RNT is actually relatively new. It's only 3 months old, but it's a utility-based coin that has extremely low supply, and analysts, similar to how they're predicting a price of $500 per XRP, are predicting a similar price for RNT coin, but in a shorter period of time. This is due to the fact that RNT coin has very low supply in comparison to any other cryptocurrency. For example, RNT coin only has 50 million circulating supply, while XRP has 50 billion with a B circulating supply. And even when you go ahead and start to compare prices, well, what's the price of XRP, for example? XRP is currently sitting at 47 cents, and again, 53 billion circulating supply. RNT is sitting at 81 cents with 50 million circulating supply. And to top it all up, the Rencom Network has publicly announced that they're going to be looking up 20% of that 50 million to use for the rental asset protocol, because again, this is a 100% utility-based coin. It is required by the Rencom Network when they facilitate the rental payment. So for rent, for any of the rental assets, they need RNT coin. They have to have it. And this is what makes it so valuable. And this is why it is going up in value, because it has a lot of demand. It is actually used for day-to-day use of, going ahead and renting a car or renting construction tools, or you have to pay your monthly rent. Well, you have to buy RNT to pay your monthly rent if you're renting from the Rencom Network or any company that works with the Rencom Network. And
let's take a pause on that real quick. The reason why I want to share this with you is this right here. I've seen some of you guys' comments, and I just want to pull this up for just a brief moment. So you heard RNT, Rencom. Check this out for a second. This is from a while back. Let's give a shout out to one of our local guys. It was 279. So there's even a Jasmy plug in regards to this. Jasmy to assist in building CBDCs as RNT expected to enter the Japanese markets. And this is something I brought up a while back. A while back, it was a rumor. Some of you guys are stating that it's actually a thing. I have to confirm some of that. But when I see somebody like 279, who I feel as though is solid when it comes to his research, he mentions the articles featured, of course, his smart city piece. We're always talking about Jasmy and Society 5.0, of course, which he authored. It's reassuring to see his work, he put to use. He grants permission, yada yada. But the point is, even on that connection. So this guy's mentioned RNT. You see the whole thing with Ripple. We did the whole thing of Jasmy, Ripple. Again, another one, RNT. So, I mean, it is what it is. I thought I would point that out. We'll play a little bit more in regards to this a little bit later. But some interesting things that was shared there, Will. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I've never studied RNT, but, you know, with that limited number of coin, I mean, that makes big sense. And if the Japanese are going to get into it, that's a pretty big market. You look at those islands, they're just little specks, but I mean, it sounds reasonable to me.
Well, not only that, I mean, oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just looking at where to get it.
Yeah, I mean, not only that, it's just also, you know, what the what's the name, Crypto Geek was sharing in regards to BlackRock and,
yeah,
you know, what was it, Wells Fargo and some of these other ones.
I don't know what to say to that. I mean, I'm a millionaire, you know. So
yeah, it's who's going to complain about that, right? Anyway,
yeah, $49, and really, I started. I'm not trying to plug that thing. I mean, I just worked on it for my own self, but I thought, hey, other people might want to play with this. It's just a toy. Price it, you know, all it is a spreadsheet, and then I've just put the math in there. But when you start punching in the banks and how much money this moves, you start watching that XRP price go up, and that's not, you know, considering the other things I've already talked about, like the number of coin that they have isn't all available. Somebody had asked a question. I guess I should address that. Why do I put an emphasis? Let's see. Why do I put a value of XRP according to market cap? Because they're dividing market cap by the coin. It's the only reason. So since they do that, I did that. That is not the biggest component for the price. It is now because there's only 2 of those little garden hoses on, so it's not really maxing out the system and raising the price. But we do because they do. That's the short of it. But $49. How many of you are going to be rich if it goes to $49?
some people, depending on how much you got. Let's go down a little bit more. I'm going to read a few more comments and we'll kick it into the next part of what we have on this particular video that we just shared. That was about roughly 8 minutes worth. I mean, there's a little bit more, but you kind of just, does all sorts of stuff in that regard. So the next part of what we'll have will be about 1,700 trillion. These are for the naysayers that just like, well, there's no way, this is all the money in the world. It's just a bunch of BS. I get where you're coming from. Here for somebody that has everything to do with these sectors, not a content creator. That'll be the next part of what we have on the outline. But let's get it into a few more comments. Let's see here. We're going to go and read Jack Thompson's Shalom Max, Crypto Wealth, and Perfect Health to everyone in the channel. You too, Cool Cat, Henry Brown, and so on. Very cool. And let's see here. Let's also go further down to a few more comments. You also have, what is this? Comments. Yolanda Taylor, big number, you need a scientific calculator. I have a site that we use. I just didn't know that Will was going to do some math on the live show. I'll hook him up with that way we can share it. It's just one that literally shows it all on the screen for you. When I used to teach, I would always share that with our students too. Just makes it a little bit easier to understand.
My iPhone does it, but you have to turn it sideways.
Oh, okay.
And you can fit.
You can't see it because you got the blur on.
There we go.
Yeah, it's still kind of blurry.
Yeah. Anyway,
you got the blur background. It's okay. All right. So let's see here. Let's go further down. Just a couple more comments and so on. James Benhart, word is there are 2 XRP ledgers. We read that one earlier. I apologize about that. Dreamer, hello. Good to have you. William Meredith, guys, you need to prep better. Well, I'll state this. I mean, yeah, if you want to see a well-oiled machine, I'll give you a challenge. Tune in tomorrow. You'll see a well-oiled machine. Okay. All right.
It's not going to be well-oiled with me.
I don't expect you to ride a bike in 3 shows, or how many shows have we done already?
Well,
4, something like that.
It's just not in me to be that formal. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just, that's probably not ever going to happen. My personality has too much. See, there's a squirrel. There's a bird.
Yeah.
And there's a.
The guy's like, if that's the case, I'm out of here. No, I'm kidding.
It'll be okay.
Yeah, I'm just joking, guys. All right, let's see here. Let's read this real quick. This is from Lee Brown. A lot of Browns. Henry Brown, Lee Brown. I was told the glitches was a reflection of the price on the private ledger. Hey, how about this? You want to chime in on that one?
I don't think so. That might be a glitch of them just I don't know what kind of glitch that is. I don't think that's what it is, because we know there's not a price difference between the two. So is it a glitch of what the price may be? When they could be testing the liquidity of it based on the numbers they know that they're going to be pumping in there. Maybe they wanted to see how many coin were available for use versus all of the coin that's staked. Maybe there was a way for them to see that. I don't know. I really don't know. A glitch could be on purpose, or it could have been just a freak show event.
Wow. Yeah. Let's also welcome Julian Cato. Love the show. Always love the deep dives. Thank you so much, Julian. Always appreciate seeing you, man. All right. Just gonna read like a couple more comments. I know, Boomer. You and Mr. Cool Cat, like you just. So I love these guys. Boomer F and Sooner, Cool Cat, right? Maybe we don't agree on everything, but you know what? I like Cool Cat. He's a good guy. And he tries to give he's not a yes man. You know what I mean? He gives you a different side of the argument. But let's just actually jump into this. And that is this notion that in order for Ripple's XRP to get to some of these crazy price levels, it's like, dude, Max, that's all the money in the world. Guess what, guys? Let's just jump right into that. All the money in the world. So let's pull this up from this lady here. And a lot of you guys do follow Cypress Demanicore, so I do want to share this with you guys. And let's just try to pull this up. Hopefully it'll fit. Because I like it when I put these little check marks in. Helps people. But basically, you should know who Cypress Demanicore is. He does a lot of deep dive content. This is only a 1 minute and 4 second clip. But this lady, right, she's from Archex, and I've done somewhat of a deep dive a while back on Maximus Crypto in regards to this. But look what it says on the screen from Cypress. Cypress reports 1,700 trillion. What is that? That's 1.7 quadrillion. This is the addressable market size set to be tokenized. This is why they don't want you involved. Now, even from here, after we play this, we're going to play another clip. Sorry, guys. Will's got some issues with his mic. We're going to play another clip that will show you a guy that you're familiar with, Glenn Beck, another particular guy. Yes, they don't want you involved. And if anything, they've been doing this for years, and they've been doing it legally. So we'll back this up. So let's play this. Again, only about 1 minute and 4 seconds, but on the screen, just in case you can't see it, on the very top, it says Archex sits at the center of an ecosystem of assets and financial stakeholders. Talks about it's going to be massive and there's going to be a growing market opportunity. Let her explain it first, for yourself. It's really nuts when you think about 1.7 quadrillion. Here we go.
This chart won't be a surprise to anyone on the call today. It really tries to capture the mammoth size of the market opportunity, addressing more than 1,700 trillion in assets, which are likely to become digital. Digitalization of all the world's assets, traditional markets, adoption of cryptocurrencies, and the tokenization of real-world assets. This is the size of the addressable market, and this is the market in which we see a huge opportunity to participate. Now, Archex really is very well positioned to capture that market growth because we really sit between and bridge the traditional and huge opportunity sets. Traditional markets, adoption of crypto currencies, and tokenization of real world assets. This is the size of the addressable market, and this is the market in which we see a huge opportunity to participate.
All right, that sounds absolutely nuts, and I do want to get your takeaway in regards to what she just said, Will, because you're always talking about some of this stuff.
Yes, sir. Wait, what did you just say? I was answering he was asking me to make
no, deer in a headlight moment. What you gonna do?
Well,
All
I was answering Denny. He was saying good night. I was saying good night, man.
Oh, okay. No, I was saying you're always talking about like some of the hopium side of things, right? And this lady is literally
talking about the tokenization of everything.
Well, I mean, come on, man. 1.7 quadrillion.
Yeah.
Okay. Even on the example here, I don't know. I guess I'll do another full screen on it just for you guys to see what wasn't discussed. Just for a second, look at this. We'll full screen this. I know it's hard for you guys to see, but on the chart, it talks about, for instance, what is it? 1.3 trillion is with Amazon, right? 1.17 trillion is all cryptocurrencies currently. We also have 3 trillion is with Apple. 3.7 trillion is private equity. 6.9 trillion is real estate funds. 10.1 trillion is gold. 40 trillion is physical currency. 90 trillion is all the money in the world, apparently. You have 300 trillion in global debt. We're always talking about XRP taking on the debt. You have 600 trillion, like you always mention, in derivatives. 613 trillion in global real estate, and then all other assets like art, racehorses, shipping, royalties, etc. I mean, it all adds up to a current amount of $1.7 quadrillion, and that's why I wanted you to chime in, because you're always talking about something like this. So.
Yeah, and that's over. We just looked at that. That's over $100 more, isn't it? At the minimum of XRP pricing. So we just 1 trillion 400 billion, 1.4. So 1.7 will be right up around $100. And then you hit all those markets. And you know what, people go, all the money. Yep, it's going to be all the money. Maybe not all on XRP, but it's all going to end up digitalized and tokenized. Because first of all, the way to do world trade, you have to use the SWIFT system, the Bank of International Settlements. The loans to nations is done through the International Monetary Fund. That is all the money of the world, and so when they're going to go country to country and do a CBDC, it's not just the cross-border payments. Once a country does a CBDC, it's every transaction that happens with money, period. You got your check, you paid your taxes, some get shunts off there and goes that way. You stop and get gas, then the gas station moves it. And every time that money moves, it's in the system inflating the price, especially if it's on the Ripple network. It's going to be inflating the price of whatever's being used. And there's going to be multiple coins used, but it is, when I see people go, oh, it can't even reach $1. If any of y'all are on here, surely you're not concerned about it reaching $1. But anyway, it's going to go to the moon, Max. And God, what if it does? Man, if it goes to 49, here's what I think. As soon as I hear that, I can open this drawer right here at my desk and find 50 cents, and put a nickel with it. And then that's going to be $50. How much?
Right, yeah.
I mean, we need to start having some yard sales and get rid of our junk and turn it into some money, right?
Absolutely. One thing you touched bases on just for a bit, this is why I brought up the screen again, just in case somebody was tuning in, was you were talking about countries that are doing a CBDC. Mm-hmm. And again, back to the whole thing of Japan, I have to inject that once again, because the way I look at it is, what about assets that nobody's really talking about? It's like, this is why I put so much focus on Jasmy, because again, this thing of Jasmy to assist in building a CBDC as RNT executed or expected, excuse me, to enter the Japanese markets. And that right there, RNT is a pure utility token. So you have Jasmy, you have the whole thing of like, I want people to understand it's not Jasmy with XRP, it's Jasmy with Ripple through Interledger for cross-border payments. And then you have this whole thing from another outline, even before we talked about the whole thing with Ripple, with RNT. RNT has a limited supply of their own coin. And it's just like, geez, like, talk about a very underrated, undervalued asset. And then even what's tagged here, look at that Swift, RNT, Jasmy. That, of course, is from cryptoalert.com. But, even one of our local guys, 279, I mean, he did a really good job of getting more into this. And as I pull it up, and I know this is, kind of like a Ripple, ISO, everything type of segment. He posted this on September 16th talking about, making these smart cities smarter. But, I mean, all the stuff, integration to IoT, data security. Jasmy has emerged as a sought-after solution, of course, in Japan. Talks about smart cities, how they utilize advanced technologies, and this vision that they have. But anyway, I'm not going to harp long on this particular thing. I just thought it was funny because you were mentioning the whole thing of, countries doing the CBDCs. It's like, what about countries that nobody's really talking about in regards to CBDCs and cross-border payments and so on? So we're going to get to the next part of what we have real quick. Then we'll take a pause to get back into the comments. Actually, we do need to take a pause right now to get in the comments because I forgot there is a super chat. I'm sorry about that. I need to recognize the super chat. I do believe it comes from Salamander. So sorry about that, Salamander. Let's just get right into that. It is this one right here. And it's from Salamander, XTC Commander. He says, "Will fix your correct future USS Enterprise F."
Sure enough.
It's a $2 super chat. So thank you so much, Salamander. Really appreciate you. I'm going to read this also from Abdul Jawad. Let's go, Max. Thank you for being here, Abdul Jawad. Let's give you a warm welcome. Corey Bibe, Max, I believe OG Crypto spoke about RNT coin. So that was good to actually mention what we just showed you. So that was another reason why we showed it to you guys. I sure hope that BlackRock is correct. I mean, I even did another piece about BlackRock, what does Mike Cornwell call it? The ghost in the machine. We talked about Aladdin. We talked about the tokenization of what BlackRock could bring to the table in regards to like QNT and stuff like that. So BlackRock is obviously going to be a very, very big proponent of all this. But we're going to get into a little bit more what we have. Just going to double check the screens. I think we're good for the most part. We'll check. We'll fix the side of things. Don't want to skip anything. And then,
Yeah, let me look over here real quick.
All right,
here we got several.
Yeah, go ahead. You can read some comments from there if you want, and we'll kick it into the next part. What we have.
Yeah, I got. Looks like a bunch of people joined here. Brandon, what's up? I saw something on Lewis Jackson's channels talking about how banks could bundle transactions on a ledger into a tab. So billion, you talking about canisters, billions into one transaction bundle and one single XRP to transfer. Well, they're talking about smart contracts. If they allow that inflation of money will still happen to XRP. So when you upload value, it's still uploading value and having to download value. Otherwise, you would end up with a fake upload if it wasn't real money asset, even if they design a way for one token to have its own value. But I think you're talking about smart contracts, which yeah, they can do smart contracts on XRP. But that entire money supply of that contract is uploaded as well. So it's not without making a price increase, but it is helping liquidity that it's one coin and not a whole ton of coins. And that's what we want. We don't want them to run out of coins, do we? Because you know what happens? They take some of that supply and stick in there, redivide the same amount of money by more coins. So we want them to do that. And then think about this too. A lot of people don't realize that a lot of the money in XRP is only going to be in there for a moment. Just as it shoots through, goes to the other side. It's a boggling amount of money doing that at the same time that's going to drive one of the price drivers. It is unfathomable how much money is all at once going to be traveling through that thing. So we think, it's not going to be in there because it's not purchased and held. Well, the retail investors and some of these whales and some of the institutions will be buying and holding. But a lot of this money is just throughput money in the first place, but it still raises the price. So that's not a price concern. There's Luis Ortega. Yes, we're going to the moon. Brandon, there's Brandon again. Not 1-to-1 as thought, but it was one person making a possible formula. All right, James Benhart. I don't know who's I lost the conversation, so I don't know what that means.
I could pull one up on the screen for you if you want.
You think price starts to move this year? Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, it is moving this year. Imagine when it's all, what? Yeah, there's going to be a lot of money, Brandon, with the ETFs. I don't know if that's ultimately a good thing. Mo, how high do you think XDC and XRP will go? What price prediction do you have for XDC, Max?
I have it at least a minimum of 10. But I've seen it, you think we do crazy price predictions over here. I've seen Rich talk about as high as $100 by 2030, I believe. Before that, he was doing 80. So, I mean, I know it sounds crazy. It's just all about how long somebody wants to hold some of this stuff. Some people say, well, how much do I need to have in the next bull market? In reality, it's how long you're willing to hold as well, So that always comes into the equation. But I see a minimum of 10, but I actually have it a lot higher than that personally. For me personally, not financial advice, I would say probably like 20 to 30. Trade sector is a huge sector. But it could be wrong, but at the same time, I mean, even at 10, look at the price right now. I mean, how many X is that, in the future? That's crazy stuff. Salamander XTC Commander, he's let it, publicly known he's just got over 1 million. So for somebody like Sal, I mean, like he mentioned, he just needs it to go to $1. I mean, good God, There's a question for you, Will, right here from Jay. It says, hey, Will, can you explain how it would be possible to tokenize your equity in your house to raise money? I know you explained this before, but he might be new. Yeah, LOFTY.ai. And they probably have homes near you. I own some I bought tokens. They use Algorand, but you buy tokens there and they have instructions. You get an appraisal, and then they start to work with you and they tokenize it, and then people buy those tokens. Now that's more on rental property than your personal property. I've noticed that it's mostly rental property and rental income. So I'm not sure if they're tokenizing just your private equity. That works like a loan, except you don't need credit. But I'm sure you can. Let's see. Do you think XRP can hit $100 by mid 2024? I think it's possible, not probable. But you get a company that starts getting things tokenized and things. I mean, anything goes right now. Anything goes. They're talking $49 by December. That's not a long time. So in that same amount of time, why couldn't it go up? The same amount. There's a lot of money out there still needs to come in the system. So I say, yeah, it's definitely possible.
Yes, I think it can. I don't know if it will. But we'll probably be rich before then, or super increased.
I want to. Sorry, go ahead.
This guy says he's 14 years old. He's using his dad's YouTube account. He says he's been buying XRP and XDC, Quant, Hbar, Chainlink, XLM for a long time. Awesome.
You're a smart kid, man. That's awesome. You're going to be retired like probably before you're 20 years old. That's amazing. I want to welcome Crypto Winner. This is a guy who's been watching our show. God, man, probably since like maybe late April or May of 2022. Good to see you, Badir. Welcome. Always appreciate you, man. Hopefully you're having a good day. All right, let's read a couple more comments. Gerald, Max, and Will, I like the raw content of the live show. Thank you for that, man.
Woo-hoo.
Do appreciate that. It's we do welcome the other one as well. You know, people want more prep and so on. I mean, I respect that. I mean, we'll try to get that a little bit better and so on, but I also understand where Will's coming from too. So I already read the one about the mid 2024 $100 XRP. Gonna go further down. Let's read a few more. I saw that one from MO. I've seen you in the comments before. I had no idea you were 14. That's so cool, man. All right, let's read this one as well. The Game Experience Show. Oh my God, you guys have no idea. I'm kidding. You don't sound like it. You guys have no idea when that switch will be flicked. Oh, I would lean towards something. I'll show you that in a bit. Do you know how many people have said the same thing? Right. You know how many people have said the same thing and shilled the same old line? I get where you're coming from, right? And if I was you, I couldn't blame you for feeling the way you do. But we do try to give people references to back it up. And whether you're on par with this, hey, man, it's okay. It's just a difference of opinion. And you know, we don't shoot down what you're saying and so on. So let's just show you real quick. And I always try to have this tab primed and ready just in case there's, you know, somebody. But I want to share this with you. All right. Maybe you haven't seen the show before, but this is what we will consistently reference. It's this right here. And this is straight from the Swift site. And as you know, Swift moves $5 trillion per day. So like it says, ISO20022 implementation. During the coexistence period, customers can decide when to enable ISO20022 for cross-border payments. But it talks about, for one, this keyword. Number 4, do I have to implement ISO20022 for all flows at once, or can I continue to send MTs? Like basically like a bank asking this. Now I take it down to this keyword. Let's get into it. And basically speaking, you know, it talks about kind of like you say, like I guess you could say like a flip of the switch. They don't call it a flip, but it's basically all at once. So let's pull this up. Yeah, here we go. ISO 222 will impact all financial institutions active in cross-border payments as well as market infrastructures and corporate bank-to-bank flows. Through only the cross-border payments and reporting messages are subject to the CBPR program adoption timelines. Organizations will have to consider and implement solutions to process and store richer and more structured ISO messages that will impact the core payment application. They talk about middleware, some of the stuff, KYC. Goes on to mention, for instance, a few more key things here. But, you know, it does mention about all at once. Let me pull that up. I think it says something about a flow. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, let's see here. I had that one from before. It might be something they actually took that off from the last time. But anyway, yeah. Payment and cash reporting flows, migration period. Here we go. November 2025. This is something we always reference, right? Look at this. Yeah, here it is. ISO 222 for all flows at once. I mean, say what you want. That sounds like a flip of the switch to me. All flows at once. And what specific date? November 2025. That's when the mandate will happen. So it's one thing like, oh, you have an option. And it's another thing to hey, you got to use this, right?
Here's an interesting point. The mandate is now. That's the deadline.
Well, I'm saying like that's a good point too. But what I'm saying is, I'm more. How should I say this? Will a bull run excites people, right? Don't get me wrong. Some people feel as though we're at the start of a bull run. Okay, most of us agree that when you see BTC at 34,000, 35,000 compared to where it was, like roughly, I don't know, 12, 13 months ago with the whole thing of FTX, when we saw like 15,800 of BTC, and now we're at, a little over double of what a BTC is. So some people will say, hey, yeah, that's the start of a bull market. I'm not really interested so much or excited about the start of a bull market. What excites me is when things go to all-time highs, or I can get close to that. So a lot of you guys, just like myself, are excited about when things are at bottom, for we can buy during that accumulation phase and sell, really high. I get that much more excited when things go to new all-time highs. This is what I'm talking about, because when I see full implementation, that tells me that is, as I would say, the utility that's in motion. We're always talking about, does your cryptocurrency have utility? Well, how about does it have utility and it's got that mass adoption? So that's where I'm going with some of this stuff. What's this other one real quick? When should we implement ISO20022, for instance, for GPI? But again, it always references end of 2025. You ever notice that from Swift? Consistently mentions that end of 2025, November 2025.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm just trying to pull it out of thin air. I'm doing the typical thing like, hey, I'm hopping on the bandwagon. Everybody's talking about the flip of the switch, but I have nothing to reference it. This is a reference straight from Swift.
Now, it may have been, it was somebody, I believe it was either Brad Garlinghouse or David Schwartz, one of them, mentioned was asked the question about a large price of XRP. And his answer was, well, that's just a flip of the switch.
Yeah, we got that.
He had no reason to say that unless it was true that, when these banks start flipping on the system and using it, and they're not using the other system, tons of money is coming rushing in, like the dam gates opening. Like a dam, like a water dam, not like the dam gates open.
Well, again, back to the whole thing from the Swiss side. You mentioned like flows. I think of a dam bursting. That's, liquidity flow, I guess you could say. I know it's a weird analogy. Here's another thing from Swift wire transfers. Look at this for a second, guys. I'll blow this up a little bit more for you, make it a little bit bigger for you to see it. What does this say? Swift was founded in Brussels in May 1973. They use this old technology with initiative being supported by 239 banks in 15 countries. The main goal was to create a standards data for financial transactions. When we talk about standards like ISO 222 standards, or how about Gilbert Verdi and ISO TC 307, he created that quant network standard. But yeah, for financial transactions using a shared processing system, global communication network. 4 years after its foundation, this first Swift message was sent in 1977. Okay, Swift message to communicate with the banks. What about ISO 222 messaging? A lot more faster, more efficient, if anything, more safer, not as garbled. You don't have truncation. Since then, Swift has become the primary global system for international fund transfers. In 2020 alone, over 11,000 Swift members from 200 plus countries sent 35 million transactions daily through the network. Look at this stat, guys. The organization recorded an average 41.8 million messages per day on year-to-date basis as of July 2021. Estimated value, this is why we reference it, $5 trillion per day in funds movement. Now, when we get into this next part, this is where Will Fix was mentioned, Brad Garlinghouse. So we'll take a pause and just play this because you're talking about it. But it talks about, boom, $10 trillion to flow, just like it mentioned from Swift, flow into the XRP ledger from digital or custody digital asset market. It says XRP is designed for 10,000 plus where is this reference? Is it reference from Brad Garlinghouse? Well, see it for yourself. Let's go ahead and play this. Here we go.
The macro environment around custody digital assets is expected to be close to $10 trillion by the year 2030. And inevitably, people are going to need a place to store those assets, and safe, secure, and they're going to need to be able to transfer them as well, having good on and off ramps, even a tokenization engine, some of the work Ripple is doing around central bank digital currencies or CBDCs. So we think there's a lot of pieces that come together, and we already had, and I remember when you and I first spoke, I remember being on a call with one of the largest top 10 banks in the world, and a bank Ripple was already working with, and they were asking us about, could we help them with their custody? This is prior to the Medico acquisition, and we weren't in a position to do that. And so when we think about that synergy, the ability to say to that existing Ripple customer, hey, here's a best in class, going head to head, time and time again, and winning on the custody level, to be able to bring that product to them, I think is a great opportunity for the two companies together. So,
wish you didn't get chopped up there, but I get it. Some people on Twitter, they don't have Twitter blue, and they kind of get some chopped off on that. But we got the point. This is back to what you were talking about, Will, in regards to Brad Garlinghouse. So back to you, man.
Yeah, no, I was answering ISO Jetpack, but yeah, I mean, he's talking about all of the money. I mean, that's nothing to spit at, is it?
Well, it's not even all the money. I mean, some people want us to be conservative, and I get that. I welcome it. Even if we do get conservative and we just do percentages of all the money, that's worth a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a ton of money. And I think we've heard so many predictions. Here's the thing I was thinking about earlier. With Bitcoin, there was nobody really anticipating what it was going to do. It just happened. Then people in hindsight are looking and going, yeah, man, look at all the millionaires that were made. Then you see everybody popping up on YouTube, having the Lambos, all the stuff. Crypto takes off. Then it starts branching off into multiple different coins. Then you get into your meme coins. And then some people made big money with non-utility, just meme coins. And people were sort of anticipating that. Then a craze began where the new coin, everybody wanted some of the new coin. The bigger the fraction, the better, because then it goes to a penny, and we can perceive that. So we think, oh, there's better value there. So people started buying and anticipating. So now we're sitting here with utility coin, and it's like a bellyache of anticipation. It's like everybody's talking about when it's going to be. And it's like the carrot, you see a cartoon, a stick and a carrot, and so the horse or whatever is walking forward trying to get it, and the whole time it's just in front of its nose. And that's what it feels like. It really feels like that. And it's hard for us to perceive the reality. So we sit with a hope that has an if in it, the word if. We have a hope like it might not happen. I have a hope like it's going to happen. That's actually the biblical form of hope in the Bible when it talks about hope. It's not talking about maybe, the hope of heaven, like maybe you'll go, maybe it's there. It's not that kind of hope. It's kind of the point of our shows, Max, is to help establish hope through learning. If you see that all this money's coming in and you own some XRP, let yourself be happy. There's shows we can go to where the guy's at green, and he's just down on everything. He's up on some things and pats himself on the back. He's the only content creator on earth that's saying everything that's right, and all his conspiracies are true. And ours may not be. Our projections may not be true, but what you're going to get here is community, and you're going to get hope, and you're going to get information. You're going to get a mix of the Vulcan over this way that is super intelligent, and then you're gonna, get me like the court gesture or something that's gonna figure out smart ways to say something, or ways to speak to give I don't know, insight in a creative way. And that's what we're trying to offer you guys. I hope you guys like that. But man, the money's coming. Your coin's it's already gone up. It's going to continue to go up. There might be sell-offs along the way, but the institutional money is coming in, and ISO has a deadline. Because I noticed when you were reading that, Max, it said, they can start now. So this November, they pushed the date back to April, didn't they? Well, what they did is gave an extension because some of them weren't ready. Some of them are going live in November. They're not going to wait. They're not made to wait. They're given opportunity. They're giving more opportunity, longer opportunity to the ones that aren't ready. Oh, by the way, let me tell you what, XRP has an API feature that's basically plugging into the back of a computer. So XRP offers API where they just literally plug in and it's done. Think of that. Now, what do you think? I would think, as a salesperson or as a person wanting to land contracts, if these people were having trouble, I'd be like, hey, I know you're working with so-and-so, but you don't have to do it that way. We can just plug you into XRP's back door. It'll be API and you're ready now. Did you know that, I think it was Brad Gardinghouse said they can do a CBDC for a country, whole country, in 1 day.
That's a flip of the switch for a whole country.
1 day.
But I'm saying that's a flip of the switch for an entire country in 1 day, and that's insane.
What I'm saying is, too, what I'm adding is this component is XRP is already ready to go. So the banks can be made ready to go. So all this waiting, I don't know. Maybe they're having to wait to unplug from the other things. That's got to be a feat too, if you think about it.
I mean, I get where everybody's coming from. Like, some people are saying, hey, Max, it's November. I also look at it from the point of view, like, okay, look what happened back in March 20th. It was just like that ISO20022 went live. But it's just something that went live. It wasn't like full scale implementation. I mean? It's like, so if anything, it wasn't Ripple XRP or Stellar XLM that moved in value during that day. It was XDC. And so my thing is, right, you got to have utility in motion to get to these price levels. Like, when I say utility in motion, I mean just that. The use case of the particular digital asset working at like full implementation, full scale, all this stuff, because that creates that much more that supply and demand for the particular asset. Do you want to accumulate it when it all takes off? Well, of course not, right? That's why we buy at some of these low prices and so on. But when we talk about flip of the switch or all at once, or like you said, a dam breaking and all that stuff, it excites me a little bit, in regards to this coming November. Like, I guess you could say like a big dam, and part of it, some of that water's coming out. Forget that, man. We need like somebody who's like, Superman level coming in and destroying the whole dam, and just big giant, like the whole river coming through, and the dam can't hold it, and it's just all that, ODL, on demand liquidity, is pouring out of it like nothing can stop it. Not just little tiny parts. Again, back to my Olympic size swimming pool analogy. We talk about ODL, on demand liquidity. I know it's called Ripple payments. I get it. I'm still always going to call ODL. It's like, am I going to get excited about, it's a hot summer day and You know, we're gonna go out to the pool and the shallow end. My feet only has a little bit of water touching it, or I'm more excited about like I'm up to my neck in all this water, or I'm in the deep end and then I'm covered in all this water because the whole pool is filled. You know, pools of liquidity, not, oh, we're using a little bit of it. We're going to start it. Okay, that might be the start of a bull run. That's definitely not all-time highs. And for me personally, it's all about all-time highs. I'm just being real. All right.
Yeah.
We'll read a few more comments, and then we're going to kick it back to what we have on the next part. It's going to be a really good one. You're going to see a guy who you're familiar with. I'll just be honest. It's Glenn Beck, whether you guys are for him or not.
I like Glenn.
Okay. I used to not stand him back in the day, but I don't mind him so much. I kind of changed my stance. All right. So what we're going to do now is, get back into some of those comments. Let's read some from your end. Let's see here. Dennis Leal, welcome. And also ISO Jetpack. He says, thank you, Will and Max. So glad to see you back, ISO Jetpack. I was wondering if you found the new channel, and I'm glad you're also subscribed to Will. But Marvin Davis says it's already up and set. You're already wealthy. Believe it is called faith. That's a good line. I like that. Free B, welcome from Ontario. Been listening hard for a while. Awesome, man. Thank you. Let's read this from Dennis Leal. Uphold being a broker. I saw that partnership. I'm so glad that Lewis Jackson did his own take on that. Uphold being a broker can purchase XRP from various exchanges and move it to institutions in smaller amounts and not affect the price as much as not raise any flags with big purchases. How about this for size? Just the whole idea of being able to use the XRP in the United States. Isn't that the main point? I think that is massive. We'll share that in a little bit as well. B-Dub wants to thank you, Will, for being one of the few to properly call XRP a coin, not a token. A coin has a native blockchain. Right, yeah. SHIB is a token. So go ahead, Will.
No, I was agreeing with him.
Yeah. Let's see here. Over on our side of things, we're also going to welcome Diabis, if I'm pronouncing that right. New here. What's up, guys? Hey, welcome. Always glad to see newcomers. Cool Cat wants everybody to know that BSV at least 100K by 2025. There is a prediction. There is. Can you share that? Cool Cat, we'd actually like to look into that'd be amazing. All right, let's see here. Let's also welcome the one and only April Cornwell. She always says, hey. Good to see April. And Jason Shane, sick painting behind you. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate that. All right. I mean, obviously, he's not referring to the blur behind Will Fix as being a sick painting. Just kidding, man. All right. Let's see here. Corey Bibe, aka Jasmy, not a scam. 10 Jasmy with 1 million tokens, 3,500 investment turns into 96,500. You will bring honor, maybe not life changing, but a solid take. Thank you for that. You know, I never knew that you talked like that, Corey. Interesting.
Yeah. Well, sounded, very Oriental.
Yes.
Japanese, maybe.
What do you guys think about WTK? I'm not personally into it. I've covered it before. I'm not going to cover it anymore. But anybody that's into it, hey, I wish you guys the best in regards to that. Jim Miller, so is it possible for Jasmy to reach their goal of 1787 in 2026? I know that for some people are going to say, it's mixed. Probably more towards people saying no. But even on the minimum of $1, it sounds amazing. But I honestly think it's possible. And the reason why I state it's possible is because every time when we look more and more into it, it's like, you know what? It could very well be more than possible, especially when it comes to, the Internet of Things, these smart devices. Like, I mean, come on, man. A Sony car, or was it Sony teamed up with Honda for a joint venture to make a Sony type car, right? Electric vehicle, kind of like Tesla. That's a big deal. Even without that, Toyota, Sony in itself, that's a big deal. Jasmy, all about those, the Internet of Things. Now Jasmy entering into finance democracy, like we talked about, for cross-border payments. I just think it's a real sleeper. But let's be honest, most people will be taking profit at $1. And it's just so cheap. I mean, even right now, I think you could buy it still for, you could buy like 100,000 tokens for like $320, $340, something like that. You know, you can't really say that for a lot of different projects out there. All right, I guess we did have another super chat that came in at 6454. Sorry about the delay. Salamander XTC Commander XRP being purchased by a BlackRock. We did cover that earlier, so thank you for that, Mr. Salamander. Appreciate you, man. And Jim Miller says his personal thought is that 50 cents a Jasmy by 2026. Even with that said, I mean that's not too bad either. I mean, you know, for somebody like myself, that's like $500,000 just off my Jasmy. But I'm not selling my Jasmy for that. That's just me. Teaches on not financial advice, right? All right, let's see here. Let's read maybe a couple more comments. We'll kick it back to what we have. Let's read this from James Breziel. He says he's sorry he's late. Get the notification. You got 4,000 XRP now. You'll be buying until it goes to double, until we hit double digits. Then you'll sell enough investment to back in and let it ride. Okay. All right. Let's also welcome Blackwood. Good to see you, man. Stump Rider, same with you. And ADHD says, no, we like the flow. If the show has too much prep, we will lose the ability to interact with the community. That's a good point. All right, let's see here.
Damn.
Let's read a couple more comments.
You was talking about the water the other day.
The water.
I mean, just a few minutes ago, you were talking about the dam breaking.
Oh, just an example in regards to like XRP and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I have this
Analogy.
Yeah, this. Let me show you. Me and my wife, we went looking at the fall color. The trees right now are changing, and it's just beautiful. And we went and looked, and we pulled over somewhere. And
really, I mean, there's
yeah.
places in the world where things change colors and they just don't turn to dirt, brown. Really?
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. There's things other than sand.
It's not really sandy here, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, I've been there. I've saw sand in Arizona. Well, it's kind of like rock, I suppose.
Yeah, it's all right.
But anyway, this was. Let me see. Let's see if I share my screen here. This is no big deal, but you know, I just thought it was funny. You can see this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so listen. Damn. That's all.
What the heck, man?
I told her, I said, I'll stick that in a video somewhere. She's like, what? I said, we're looking at a dam. I said, damn. You know. Hey, I thought it was funnier than that.
No, it's funny. It's funny. It kind of reminds me, like, you know, what was it, Beavis and Butthead when they go and visit the Hoover Dam. But they don't say damn, they say the bad thing. Anyway. All right. Yeah, that was cool. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to read this comment and then we're going to kick it into a little bit more of what we have. Corey Bibe. Yes, you know how it goes, aka Jasmy not the scam. Max, when Bitcoin's ETF gets approved, I'm curious to see how many Bitcoins will be in these ETFs. For example, BlackRock, 200,000 BTC. I don't know, man. I never really thought about that from that perspective. That is curious. Will that create more demand because it's, you know, in these particular areas? I don't know. What are your thoughts in that regard? Have you been thinking about what he's asking here, Will?
Well, if it's ran like SLV for silver, the amount that's set aside is as people buy and purchase. So there'll be an initial amount that they will have. And then as the price is fluctuating and money comes in, they'll buy as needed. So they'll buy and sell into the reservoir that they create. So they'll have an initial purchase, and then people won't have to buy Bitcoin anymore.
What is up with you? Reservoirs, dams. You got a like natural resources like on your mind or something, you know?
Hey, you know, it comes naturally. I know you're envious.
Natural habitat.
I know, Brother Max, you're envious, you know.
That's all good.
So I don't even know what I was saying now.
I'm sorry. This is where Max interrupts you.
They'll buy a certain amount up front, and then as money's coming in and out, you know, they'll purchase more and sell from the reservoir, purchase more, and just keep a throughput going. But I said people won't have to buy Bitcoin. They won't get to buy. So now they're just going to own an ETF stock, but that's going to cause the ETF or BlackRock to buy more as tons of people, you know, buy for investment purposes, then dump it. Just, I don't like the idea of the derivatives market. Calls and puts should be to protect your shares. And I'm guilty of it too. I'd buy calls and puts just to make money. You know, I don't even own the shares because you can do so much with it. But what happens is the derivatives, you can start controlling the price. What's the likelihood that the attention's going to switch from old school Bitcoin that made a bunch of millionaires to new school utility coin that made thousands upon thousands of millionaires? Then Bitcoin's just not looked at. Out of sight, out of mind. What's the likelihood that BlackRock's planning on that happening is buying, investing in an ETF so that they can own a lot of shares, so that they can short it, so that when it goes to pot, they make even more?
Oh man, this is going to be a terrific segue. What you just said then,
okay?
Because we're going to get right into that part. So for one, okay, so I'm sure that Cool Cat is screaming out BSV based off what you said, and then you're talking about
BSV, definitely.
Yeah, but based on what you just said, also just now in regards to, I guess you could say some of these institutions like buying it for cheap and stuff like that. Let's just get into this. This is the segment I was wanting to get into. Here it is, and I like this guy. I've been following him for a while. He follows me. I follow him. RizXRP. I remember this guy had like 10,000 followers. He's killing it. 25,000 followers. God's plan. Hey, good stuff. He covers XRP, QNT, Link, XDC, Flare, Hbar, XLM, Polygon Matic, and BTC. Now let's look at what's mentioned here. This is a follow-up to 24 Hours Crypto. A lot of you guys follow him. But the point is, they lie to you. Now, I want to state this for a while, okay? Or I want to state this for a while. For a while, we've been stating this. Mike Cornwell's been mentioning this too. Like he put out a little thing about Jasmy, and it was talking about Binance manipulation. That's just one of many examples, you guys. I do agree. They do lie to you. Who is they? It says once in a lifetime opportunity. They want you out. Who are these people? Let's give you an example of who these people are. If anything, if this doesn't prove manipulation, I don't know what will prove manipulation. Glenn Beck is featured on here. Let's just let it speak for itself. We'll play it. We'll hear Will fix his thoughts here in a bit. Here we go.
This is how the rich get richer.
Yes.
They know, they're connected. A lot of times they're coordinating.
Yes.
Without the insider trading. This is not illegal to do.
No, manipulating the news cycle, if you're smart about it, is they can get away with it. Nobody's ever been arrested for anything like this.
So now with crypto, I know personally, I know people that would have gotten in or stayed in if these people weren't saying what they're saying.
Right. And so this has really been extremely egregious. So on September 12th, Jamie Dimon says Bitcoin is a fraud. He says he'll fire any one of his traders buying Bitcoin. Bitcoin drops 24%. When Jamie Dimon speaks,
people listen.
People listen. So that weekend, we found out that the largest buyer of a Bitcoin fund that's in Europe that buys physical Bitcoin, right? The largest buyer was Morgan Stanley and JP Morgan. And that's not illegal.
He says it's a fraud.
It says we fire anyone that buys it.
Fire.
Yes.
And at the same time, his company is buying
His
it.
company is buying it.
So it's just, I mean, so unethical.
Right.
All right. So to me, blatant manipulation. Oh, hold on a second, Will. Let me unmute you. There you go. You're unmuted. Go ahead.
Did you see the handwriting on that chalkboard?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, wasn't that
You want me to
awesome?
pull it up? You want me to pull it up again?
Does your handwriting on the chalkboard look like that when you were an instructor?
I didn't use chalk. I was.
Did you have a
thankful-
whiteboard?
We had a whiteboard, and I had pretty decent writing for people could read it and stuff like that.
Cool.
And then I always encourage all our students to use the ebook because at the end of the day, I realize, kids, I put myself in the perspective of them. You don't want to come home and do a bunch of homework. You know what I mean? I'm like, hey, look, we're here to learn. Prove to me you're willing to learn. Let's use the ebook. And it's all about Control F. And I always encourage Control F to everybody. But anyway, but yeah, I mean, what, Beck talks about here, I mean, whether you're a fan of the guy or not, I think he's pretty much spot on some of this stuff. And this is where, when we get proper regulations, guys, that the days of the Wild West of crypto not being volatile anymore, you won't have that. So you better believe these guys. Go ahead.
Yeah. This is a Control F.
Control F. That's funny.
This is them in control, and we're the ones effed.
There you go. Yeah, that's exactly what's going on. It's freaking ridiculous.
Nah, we're bypassing that. We already own XRP.
Yeah, no, but my thing is this, man. I mean, like even with the Jasmy thing, I mean, CZ, he did exactly what Glenn Beck was talking about here, where the reference to Jamie Dimon of JP Morgan. You create panic, then they buy on the fear. That's at the highest scale that there is. JP Morgans of the world and so on. I mean, reality, CZ is not up to that caliber, really, if you think about it. But yeah, they do it all day, every day, and they'll continue to do it. Any excuse they can get to do it, they're going to do it until what? Proper regulations come in. So if proper regulations come in, right, how can they keep doing it? They can't. So therefore, now we start seeing the big institutions start coming in, because they don't want to come into this space unless it is stable value. And now we're not talking about a 1-1 like stable coin, guys. Again, go back to the World Bank pamphlet brochure. It talks about specifically word for word Ripple's XRP, Stellar's XLM being global stable coins at a high value, not at $1. It has nothing to do with the dollar. So my thing is, crypto market in the future becomes the non-volatile market, high stable value. It will be a shift from stocks. I mean, when we look at meme coins, Will, it's like, for those are extremely volatile. Is the stock market in the future going to be that new volatile market? And if so, why would people want to still buy securities and stuff like that? I don't know.
I think tokenization will take over the stock market.
Well, that's what Larry Fink was kind of, mentioning and hinting at. Tokenization of stocks, bonds, securities, you name it, right? Real estate, anything. Real world assets, yeah.
You can tokenize a piece of real estate. Why couldn't I tokenize my guitar shop or my bonding company? Sell tokens and then pay people, out of the interest. If you can create a big enough interest, the money that you raise is how you pay the interest. It's almost like a Ponzi scheme. Because the money that comes in, out of that money, you're paying the people that are cashing out, or wanting interest, and the hope is to create a value where it continually grows. But it's so hard to create a publicly listed stock company, but man, you can tokenize in a minute.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah, I agree. Let's double check. Go ahead.
Be cool. The future is going to be really cool.
Yeah. We're gonna double check a couple, different screens. Excuse me. I want to welcome Menace. Glad to have you, Menace. We're also gonna read this from Chad Thompson. Will I die before Max or first? What the heck? Considering military bases and industrial complexes. Okay. See here, Legendary. I tuned you guys' show, I think, the other day. Thank you for being here. The whole derivatives idea is kind of what I thought crypto was going to eliminate. Bankers seem to tweak everything to suit their own interests. That's a good point. Let's see. Let's also read a few more, especially from your side of things. Let's see here. Abu Rai, welcome. What will you think will happen on November 19th? What do you think will happen on November 19th, Will?
There's still going to be people get ready. We're still going to see something happen. Just they gave an extension. Some of the banks weren't ready. The ones that are, I mean, there's no mandate that says they can't get ready. So some of these are opening starting point dates, and some of these are deadlines. And so we got to recognize the difference. Like the November 2025 date is a deadline, not a starting point. I mean, so any time between now and then, they can go ahead and be ready.
This is where we don't agree, my friend, and that's
Really?
okay. I look at a deadline as being a starting point because it tells me that you have to use this technology.
Yeah, that's the deadline. You have to be ready before then. That's not the starting point. Where,
right, but
hey, get ready.
Being ready, and what I mean, it's kind of like, hey, we're for instance, let's say it's like a fast food place, all right? We're gonna build I don't know, just gonna throw this example. We're gonna build an In-N-Out burger, a brand new In-N-Out burger. So you see it, you drive down the road, you see it being built and so on, and they're getting ready, like you mentioned, to get ready. To do what? To have a grand opening at some point. But then grand opening is where all the big stuff happens. It means you and I get to go down to In-N-Out Burger and finally enjoy a delicious, I don't know, a double animal style with animal fries or whatever the heck it is. We get to enjoy that. We get to consume that. We get to eat that. Well, what about the whole thing with Ripple's XRP, Stellar, and all that stuff? Option to have the implementation of like a messaging system is one thing, but to be like, nope, all you guys have been aware of what we're trying to build or trying to implement here for a while. Now you have to use it. So, I mean, when we say flip of the switch, I mean, am I too far off?
I don't see where we're disagreeing at all.
Okay, well, maybe I'm just not interpreting what you're saying the right way. So my thing is, it's just that, man. I mean, being able to fully utilize utility, that's all it is for me.
This will answer it for you.
Not partial utility is what I'm trying to say.
If you're a bank and I'm like, hey, Max, are you going to be ready by November 2025? So when we turn it on, is that what you're going to do with all your processes, is allow that system to go?
Yeah, I mean, what's the point of not using the technology?
So here's that day. Max, are you ready? Yes. Okay, we're flipping on the switch. Congratulations, you met the deadline. Another bank, I'm sorry, we flipped the switch. You didn't meet the deadline. You're not participating in the trade, so we don't, the old system's gone. We got the new system. That's the way I see it. So, right.
Okay.
So the start has already happened. You can already be ready. You can already use the system.
I get where you're coming from. I just, as a retail investor, and I understand Ripple's not focused on retail. I get that. But a retail investor, I want to see things being fully utilized. How about this? Another analogy. Shout to our Arizona Diamondbacks in the World Series, and Suns won the season opener yesterday. Yeah, that's why we're in the hat tonight. But anyway, so it'd be like the World Series here in Arizona is, I think, Game 3 is on Monday. All right, in our big old Chase Field Stadium. Can you imagine, Will, this big thing of a date, right? Monday. What is Monday coming up? Monday is the 30th. Okay, so Monday, October 30th. You know, ready to declare to the world, hey, World Series is on this date. So everybody's known about this World Series, you know, and there's going to be a Game 3 on that particular date here in Arizona. And instead of having, you know, a sellout, there's only a few butts in the seats. That's the kind of the way I look at this whole thing of ISO 20022. I'm tired of the whole thing of, oh, well, you know, this is going to go live and, you know, you have the option of using it. So, okay, that's great. But a real true flip of the switch is just like we mentioned, you know?
Yeah,
like
we're saying the same thing.
Everyone.
There might be just a semantical term is what I see.
Yeah.
Because we're not waiting for, there's people already using it right now. They're using XRP. So they're already using it.
And then I also look from the perspective of, like, you know, we talk about on-demand liquidity, Ripple payments, what do you want to call it? And, you know, ISO 222, it's like, all right, if Swift isn't fully upgraded to ISO 222 and they still move 5 trillion a day, and some, as you was mentioning, you know, some of the old systems are still using Swift, all right, then, okay, it's like, I want to see all the banks, not just some of the banks, all of the banks, to fully utilize the new upgraded system.
Well,
because that means more money flow happens, you know?
Swift has already started ISO 20022. They already have it on. They did that just several weeks ago at that announcement. So they have it now. Right now it's on and it's working and being used.
Right, but not all the banks have it used. That's my point.
No, that's right. But also the banks aren't waiting. They don't have to wait for everybody to be on board in order for this thing for them to use it. All they got to do is start using it. And you don't have to have XRP for them to send money to you. So it's already there's going to be a flip of the switch. Yes, but that is more of a off switch for the old system. And the new system is now already been running, is the way I see it. Is the institutions are going to be building, and then they're going to the old system's gone. Now, if you're not ready, you miss the deadline. That's why I use the term deadline. If I'm a CEO, I have to be ready by November 2025.
Can we talk about this for just a second? We'll kick it back in the comments because this is a good back and forth conversation. To me, based off of what you mentioned, just real quick, just real quick, based on what you mentioned, and that is this. I think with what you were saying is actually a good thing, because wouldn't that create that much more demand? So let's say I'm going to throw out example, the U.S. Bank, right? Because I remember when I was a kid, there was the U.S. Bank building. Let's say U.S. Bank has gotten this notice since last year. They have to go with ISO 20022, and then they just decide, like, hey, we're going to procrastinate, or we don't believe in this new technology. We're just not going to go with it. So they don't meet that deadline. And like you said, so they're SOL, right? So wouldn't that create all that much more demand, if you think about it, for these assets? Because now the world sees these assets like, oh my God, this stuff is flying off the payment rails like crazy. This is awesome new technology compared to that garbage from the 70s from just, you know, the Swift, you know, MT messaging system. So shouldn't that alone, even without a full, as you would say, or I would say, like flip of the switch, create that much more demand? Because it's all about supply and demand, even with stocks, right? What sends these stocks to the moon is supply and demand kicking in, you know? So would you agree that, like, that creates that much more demand?
So. I think
like
so.
Things going parabolic, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and the flip of the switch, I don't know. You know, there'll be a lot of banks that will be ready to implement. They'll test, and they may just wait on that date. You know, I don't know. But that date, I think, is to give people. It's a beginning point and a deadline at the same time. You know, it's the whole thing will be changed at that point. So it's quite possible that the flip of the switch isn't just that all of these institutions will turn on and use everything. That as far as the term used for ISO, flip of the switch could mean the turning off of the old system and the on of the new.
That's a good point. Yeah, I like that analogy.
Now Brad Gardinghouse saying that's a matter of a flip of the switch. I think he could be referring to something completely different. He might not even be talking about ISO and what's going on there. I don't know. I know that they've signed a whole bunch of deals, and not all of those are being implemented right now. And there's still some kind of a lawsuit in there. So I don't know if that's holding anything up, because they still. They canceled the stuff with Brad and dropped those charges. Yeah, with prejudice, so they can't bring it back up. And then, anyway,
I think they're more than good.
I think we got deep in the weeds.
Nah, it's okay. It's a good. I think people appreciate the back and forth conversation, right? All right. So yeah, Jack Thompson, supply and demand, spawn on that part. So we already read a lot of these comments. Let's get further down into a few more, and then we'll kick it into the next part. The next part basically is, it's about institutions and the educational phase. I know it sounds insane, but we'll get into that in a little bit as well. I want to read this from XRP Preacher. It says, great show. You guys are awesome. Thanks, XRP Preacher. That's a great name. Oh, all right. Let's welcome Jim Miller. Light, I will take 80 cents by 2025. Oh, my bad, Light. I didn't even see there, man. Good to see you. Thank you for being a supporter. Seeing a lot of your comments. I really appreciate you, man. Jasmy in April 2025. I guess 80 cents. I mean, does anybody really complain about an 80-cent Jasmy? I mean, maybe you want to be a full dollar, but that's depending on how much you have, that's not too shabby. I mean, that's not too shabby at all. I mean, even if a person only had 100,000 Jasmy, that'd be like 80 grand worth of Jasmy. I mean, that's not exactly generational wealth, but I mean, who's really complaining about an extra 80,000? All right, let's see here. Let's read this comment from cryptoinfo_DYOR. Do your own research. What up, gang gang? Smash the like and do your own research, folks. Thank you so much. Please give cryptoinfo_DYOR of the metaverse a follow. All right. We're going to a few more comments, and then we'll kick it into some more coverage. Let's welcome the one and only Mr. Elon Musk. He says he's not sure why supply matters. In his opinion, the market cap matters. Supply only matters if they are going to release more supply into the market. It could have a supply of 5 and 20 zeros after the decimal for all he cares. I actually want to hear you chime in about what he just said. Will?
Let's see who that was. Elon. ISO may be live. Is that the one?
Yeah, I have it on the screen for you.
Okay. I'm not sure why supply matters. The market cap matters. Supply only matters if they're going to release more supply into the market. It could have a supply of 5 to 20 zeros after the decimal. I'm trying to see what you mean. Well, the money's divided by the token. It's how many drops? There's 1 million drops in one XRP token.
All right, I remember you talking about that.
Yeah. So a $10,000 XRP price would be, every drop would be worth a penny. So that's not additional, that's fractional. That's not additional tokens, that's fractional of one token. The reason the number of coin matters is that let's say, I don't know, but just for sake of speech, let's say half of the tokens are owned by me and you and everybody else that owns tokens, institutions, whatever, that are holding. That means only half of those other tokens are available. So if those other half are the only ones available, that means there's 26,500,000 tokens. Is that right? Or is it billion? 26 billion. Okay, well, if somebody's moving $26 billion, they can't even, they're only worth 55 cents. They can't even do it. So what has to happen is the price of all of them go up until the liquidity factor of the algorithm is met sufficiently not to cramp the system. So then the number of coin matters there because they're not all available. So then the price has to go up. And that's the case. Now, I think they're first going to choose for the price to go up because everybody wins that way. There's not any way that they lose by the price going up. I think they'll hold the coin that they have on the sideline in escrow or whatever that they have on the side that's not included into the current pool or whatever. So it's created, but it's not on the active ledger. They'll probably sew those in over time, is what I think they'll do. There's another point that is suggested, is they could also use them to stabilize a price. In other words, keep it from going up once it's hit a max. Then they can switch over to okay, well it's $10,000 a coin, and so we're gonna cap it there, and so they just add more coin as needed to maintain a price. Because honestly, they could create a stable coin just by adding and removing coin and adjusting the price, and then make it, a flat 2,500 per ounce of gold, for instance. And then anyway, so I don't know.
No, it's a good comment. It's a good perspective.
Right.
Yeah. Speaking of another good comment, I want to also read this from. Sorry.
I like it. Elon's smart.
Yeah, he is. He's really smart. So look, I want to read this from B Dub. It's from your channel. It says, this is the last comment. He says XRP has drops. Fun fact, listen to this, guys. XLM has stroops. So it's kind of interesting the terminology of all this stuff, right? All right, guys, we're going to do, I just double checked both screens. I think we're caught up for the most part. We're trying our best to, have a balance of comments in the show. I want to get into this next part because this is really, really good. It's another video segment for you guys because, some of you guys like some of the video interaction and so on. Once again, from Cypress to Manicore, give him a follow, especially if you use CryptoX. Really great content creator. But anyway, he goes on to mention this right here. Institutions are in the education phase. We talk about the accumulation phase. But what about institutions? What are they doing? So they're in this phase of education. Over time, this market will mature. People are starting to take it serious. There's this whole different narrative shift. If you can't beat them, join them. Let's play this. Minute 11 seconds. If you appreciate the show, all we ask is that you smash the like. Thanks for being here, you guys. We really do appreciate each and every one of you. Here we go.
And that's how we've explained it to institutions. I would say the vast majority of discussions with institutions right now is educational. So we're still at that phase. And think of it in the context of current finance. Tesla is roughly a 60 vol asset, 600 billion company plus or minus, probably a little bit lower today, similar to Bitcoin. So we talk about Bitcoin as though it's this pervasive risk and it's speculative and it's all these things, and it resembles exactly what we see with Tesla that people are very excited about because of the technological innovation. And I think as you start to see the tools that are used on top of these rails become more pervasive in the context of a cell phone, you can have an ETH operating system on a cell phone now that becomes your digital wallet, that becomes a decentralized source of communication, so on and so forth. You'll start to see the application layer start to dominate attention, and the focus on the speculative nature of the underlying technologies go away.
And can I just say very, very quickly that not all crypto assets are speculative assets. So, I work for a company that makes what you'll
So this is why I just put that up there on Jasmy, because what you heard that gentleman just mentioned was, for instance, like an operating system on a phone. How about, for instance, what Jasmy is doing in regards to a blockchain, blockchain smartphones and so on, right? This was recently announced from one of the members of the Jasmy management team. So there's that. So my thing is, I want people to understand that, yeah, the institutions are educating themselves. I had a friend joke around with me about the whole thing of, Max, I don't even know if, Hara and the Jasmy management team even recognize or even know that they have this interoperability option, for instance, like with Quant in the future, or that they can do cross-border payments, for instance, with Ripple through Interledger. But again, guys, it's just a little bit more of that education. Now, in my opinion, I think they do know, because that makes sense. Why jump into the whole, cross-border payments thing and then, attend a conference that's, Diamond sponsored by Ripple? I think they really recognize that. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. But another thing I want to get into is a little bit more of what we have on this outline. And it's basically a little bit more of Ripple. And they have a brand new commercial. I don't see us getting any type of trouble for airing this. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just a commercial. But I want to share this with you guys. This is pretty cool as well. This is their newest commercial. It started yesterday on this new campaign. And it's just cool stuff. Look what it says here. It says, Ripple is on fire. True. Are you on the right side of progress? Don't miss the XRP train. This one's only 39 seconds, but it's their newest thing. So let's go ahead and play this as well, and then we'll do some commentary with myself, Will, and you guys here in a bit. Here we go.
Finance has always been slow to evolve, but real progress is happening all around you. Like money that moves as fast as
global markets that never close,
and efficiency that moves finance at the speed of business today.
So forward-thinking enterprises,
financial institutions, and governments can move forward faster.
It's happening now, and it's ready for those
who are ready
to make change. So, are you on the right side of progress?
All right, so with that said, you guys, I don't know if you've seen some of these other commercials. Like, for instance, you guys will watch us, you'll get a commercial, and the commercial might be from Kraken, okay? And it talks about, a world that can move forward, all right? They are trying to educate people now a little bit more in regards to even the commercial advertisements, instead of, being a shill of, hey, just go to this exchange because it's a little bit more of that education. Ripple's doing it. Coinbase is doing it. It's letting people know that the pathway forward is innovation. The other example we gave earlier with the guy talking about Tesla, supply and demand, and people are excited about technology, innovation, and so on. We have a little bit more about this here in a bit, but Will, what do you think about this, like the educational side, even with institutions, all of it?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay, fair enough. Well,
did that throw you off?
Yeah, it's okay.
I'm sorry.
Hey, it just shows you're real. We're not programmed AI, right?
No, I can make something up. I don't know.
All right. Well, how about this, guys? Before we kick into the comments, I do want to share some Stellar for you guys. We're going to kick into that segment. Maybe we'll chop this up a little bit later. So what I'm going to do now is let's just pull this up as well. And where are we at? Boom. I always like that icon. Looks kind of cool. All right. So, yeah, we're going to jump into our Stellar coverage of the night. If you guys are into Stellar, awesome. If you're not, it's okay. Check this out for a second. This comes straight from the Stellar Development Foundation. Lots were reported here earlier. So there's, of course, a quarterly review. I don't want to get into that. But what I do want to highlight for you guys is that 7 hours ago, they were a part of this convention, if you will. Their team nailed it in Geneva, diving headfirst into the mission of delivering humanitarian aid through the Stellar Network. They're super proud of that. When we get more into this, I want to share this as well. Yesterday was the first day of what they call AIDX. This particular conference. Stellar, of course, has a booth there. I mean, that's to be expected. But some of the things that are mentioned here: transparent, affordable, instant, accessible, global, portable, delivering digital aid at scale. Going further down in regards to this, there's some more that I want to get into. Basically, like it says, lots of movement around the AIDX show floor. Confine us to learn how Stellar Aid Assist is powering the future of humanitarian aid. But I like this part, and I did pull up some research in regards to this. It says the UNHCR refugees had declared 41 emergencies in 27 countries since January 2023. The complexity rises each year. UNHCR has a search for alternative solutions to maintain its capacity by bringing together stakeholders from different sectors. Some key speakers were at this particular, I guess you could say, presentation, meeting, and so on. It's in regards to this thing called the CALP network. So I went ahead and I actually decided to get more into this. I already went ahead and retweeted this. It takes you to this. This is the Stellar Development Foundation, joins CALP. If you're not aware of who they are, I'll get into that in a bit. To further the future role of digital assets in payments, of course, in humanitarian aid. Now, I get it. A lot of you guys are kind of upset about the whole thing. United States, Ukraine, and Russia-Ukraine war. I mean, who isn't, right? But we do talk about mass adoption, and even before the war, Ukraine, I think, ranked like top country in the world when it came for mass adoption. Like United States, I think, was at like 4%, and Ukraine was at like 12% mass adoption. Now, this company or organization, I should say, called CALP, they got quite a bit of things that I thought was worth getting into, and I'll pull that up from their Wikipedia here in a second. But it states that CALP network plays an invaluable role in enabling, basically educating, and on top of that, advocating for responsible cash and voucher assistance. And when I read all this stuff, I say to myself, isn't the whole point of giving people more access the pathway forward for mass adoption? I think it is. Look what it says about CALP. They originally started as the quote-unquote cash learning partnership. They bring organizations together to strengthen capacity, knowledge, coordination, and policy for CVA. Listen to this focus for a second, guys. They focus on themes such as digital payments, gender and inclusion, multi-purpose cash assistance, human mobility. So right there, human mobility tells me more adoption. Digital payments, more adoption. Multi-purpose cash assistance equals more adoption. Their network also has a purpose to maximize the potential that humanitarian CVA can bring to people in context of crisis. So as we've seen, especially at the height of the whole thing of the Russian-Ukraine war and so on, a lot of Ukrainian citizens were interviewed even back in 2022 has stated cash to them was like nothing. Like, we don't want cash. They would even make it clear that they preferred like crypto, for instance, like, something like Stellar and whatnot. So when we talk about supply and demand kicking in, this is another example of just that, in my opinion. CALP envisions a future which people are enabled to, or being enabled to overcome crisis with dignity by exercising choice and their right to self-determination in order to achieve long-term well-being. But here's the Stellar plug. Stellar turned to CALP vast network for educational resources, as they did what? Ramped up on humanitarian cash transfer programs in preparation for the Stellar Aid Assist. Of course, this is something I've been covering for a long time as well. There's other content creators that do as well. But back to the whole thing about CALP, it says a year later, they're excited to announce that SDF, as in the Stellar Development Foundation, is the newest member organization of CALP. As the first Layer 1 blockchain to join the network, we look forward to advancing the conversation on the role of technology within humanitarian response in regards to payments. Now, I'm going to take you over to the actual Wikipedia site, and what you're going to see right here is that back a while ago, you had this whole thing in regards to Calp, and like it says, they've been around. They formed in 2009. They're not some brand new company. Actually, they technically originated in 2005 and then formation in 2009. But they launched in 2009 as the Cash Learning Partnership with objectives increasing scale. Think about it, guys. We always talk about scalability. So do you have Stellar that has scalability for people in crisis? Because you imagine, think about this for a second. Can you imagine a case where, you know, you're in a desperate situation, you need money really, really bad, you're like in a war zone, for crying out loud, and you who need this really, really bad, you don't have the same user experience as people who don't, are in these tough situations. Or, you know, there's like 10,000 people and they're in this crazy situation, they need the money immediately, but it's like, no, we have some throttling problems, we have, you know, this is laggy, it's all too much network traffic. No, you can't have that. So this has to scale. This stands out to me. And I do like this part. You know, this encompasses aid delivered as cash. So, you know, we always talk about Stellar, the on-ramps, the off-ramps. Talks about, for instance, Calp works to build CVA capacity within aid organizations. Stellar is always about aid organizations and so on. They've been a top proponent of, you know, the Stellar Aid Assist for a while. There's a robust history in regards to all this. They have a lot of activities. Listen to this for a second. According to a 2018 report, found that the CVA was used to disperse $2.8 billion in humanitarian assistance, an increase from 40% from 2015 and 100% up from 2014. CALP also works to promote research by members and other networks in the field. So it sounds like a big deal. I mean, and we want to get more towards that mass adoption. I think this thing with CALP is a good thing, whether, you know, people fully understand it or not. So I thought I would share that with you guys. It's not often that we get, you know, a full Stellar update with you guys, but, you know, who doesn't want to hear more about mass adoption, right, Will?
That's right. Yeah, too, I was thinking, you know, how usually when they're raising money for a crisis, there's a certain place you have to go. You have to go to a website. You have to make an account. You have to do all this stuff. This is going to make it much easier.
Yeah, I agree.
Individuals, yeah, me and you could send, you know, a couple bucks, and they'll probably be able to raise money much faster once mass adoption has taken place, you know.
Yeah, absolutely, totally.
Do it on your cell phone without having to create an account with somebody.
Yeah, I mean, you know, even seeing Hbar doing some things similar to this. All right, so you want to get into a few more comments and so on? I think we just have a little bit more for you guys. It's basically the last segment will be just a tad bit about Jasmy, and then after that, we'll probably start wrapping things up. But would you like to get into a few more comments from your side of the things, or just read the comments from StreamYard, whatever you prefer? All right.
Yeah, I'm going to my site.
Okay.
I'm in my deal right now so I can see what we got here. Wow, I went over 5,200 subscribers. Wow. Let's see.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, man. They did a little benchmark prize confetti throw for me. Let's see. Was wondering what would be the composition of ETF besides BTC. Well, Joy, I'm not sure. I think it'll just be Bitcoin will be the only thing there. I don't know if they'll couple it with something else.
To answer that, just real quick, so there's Franklin Templeton. Like, there's some that, yeah, I would agree. Like what you're saying, Will, it's just like BTC, and you know, but there's other ones like Franklin Templeton where, you know, it wouldn't be just BTC. Like they have a direct partnership with Stellar. So Franklin Templeton has a Bitcoin spot ETF. It would simply make sense for them to also include Stellar. You get what I'm saying? Because they're like they're pretty tight with Stellar. So anyway.
Okay, I get it. Mad scientist, I believe Ripple and Uphold are XRP Bank. Coinbase is a ETH Bank. Binance is a BNB Bank. Globiance is a bank of XDC. Yeah, I see what you're saying there. Richard Rigg, what would you guys do when all your ISO tokens are worth millions? What's a good strategy? Set up a trust? Well, you got to think about taxable events. A taxable event would be complete cash out. Even if you put it in a trust, you still created a taxable event. So I think my preferred choice is going to be staking. So if you make enough money, you don't care about the taxes up front, then it doesn't matter. Because you pay the taxes, then you have the difference and you don't have to worry about it anymore. You just gave all that money up. But if you stake it, you're going to pay as it's distributed and only after you've reached past your initial investment is the way that would probably happen, which is going to be pennies compared to the dollars, right? Let's see, Julie Nesbitt. I thought ISO goes live in November. Well, Swift made the ability to do messaging several weeks ago. They created just a spot in the road to try to get everybody ready. And that was November the 19th. Well, there were people saying, hey, we're not going to be able to do it. Now, that is a flip of the switch style deal, turning on all those systems for those people, for whatever banks were ready. But when the banks complained, they just made an extension. So nobody has to wait until March. Just March will be the extension for the ones that weren't ready. So the ones that were, they're good to go whenever they want. So any day now, we're going to get a bank that's going to get started. Let's see. I think both systems will be running until then. Yeah, I think so. They're going to be running some banks, if they're not using XRP, like we said earlier, XRP has an API system where they can just plug the bank right into the back of their system. And, that covers most all of the work necessary to convert over. Some of the banks will still use the old system to send the money, but the new system to send the message. And that's, I guess, in preparation of making the complete switch. All right, Darren Eardley, nothing happens till the full crash. Yeah, you may be right there. I mean, you got a point. The full crash is going to really make people go ahead and switch, isn't it? Can't get right. I'll take $2 before Thanksgiving. I will too, actually. But what about that $49 BlackRock leak? Is that a lie, you think, or is it a real leak? I don't know. But what I do is stuff that in the bowl. I stuff that hopium in the bowl and go, yeah, it looks like we're gonna have a good Christmas. All right, let's see. XRP drops. Fun fact: XLM had. Oh yeah. We covered that. Life in China with Patrick. Watching from China. Man, how awesome! I love it.
Oh, that is awesome. That's on your side of things.
Yes, sir.
Where was that mentioned? Oh, Life in China with Patrick.
Yeah. I would not sell anything to buy anything else. I mean, I'm into about 6 of them, and I keep thinking about that. But then, which one's going to go first? Are they going to move differently? Are they going to, is retail going to pile in on one, and some big news come out and it shoot to the moon? I don't know.
And please have some kind of portfolio management software, or, or app or something. That way, when it pops off, you'll know it's popping off because you can literally see on your app, or it gives you a notification or something. Because you don't want to be the type of guy in which you're like scrambling to see what's happening, and then it really went to all-time highs, and then now you just lost 30% or something.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, everybody's going to have to figure that out. I've said often, for most people, 100,000, hitting 100,000 or a couple 100,000 is going to be the enemy of them getting $1 million, because, if you've never seen a couple $100,000, when your heart's palpitating going, what if it goes down? And then through fear, you may sell, and then you might be afraid, now when do I buy in? Now, I don't know if y'all have ever done this, but I've done it where I've sold and then it's going up. And then I think, man, I need to buy. It's going to go up again. And then it drop. And if you're reactionary to the price volatility, you'll end up losing, because that's being reactionary. So it's better on these things to be proactive and to have price points and portions that you're maybe ready to sell, and then handle it like an emotionalist Vulcan, just be a Vulcan about it. I reached my first price point, so I'm selling a third, and then you're exercising a plan, and you're not the tail wagging the dog, you're the head and not the tail, I should say. All right. And let's see, that looks like I've covered most of those.
All right, so I'll get into just a few more from our side of things. Let's see here. I want to welcome Menace. I don't think I had a chance to welcome you earlier. Good to see you, Mr. Menace. And we're gonna go further down into some more comments. Let's see if there's anything specific. All right, let's see here. Muhib Limited. Hi, Max. New cap is cool. This is an old cap, man. I've had this cap since I was in the 7th grade, believe it or not. It's really old school. But yeah, the Suns won last night and was their season opener, and I'm just kind of, I think they're playing the Lakers tonight. I'm going to watch that a little bit later. But yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, and then not only that, I didn't have a Diamondbacks hat, and I want to, kind of show my support for the Diamondbacks since they're in the World Series. All right, so let's see here. Let's go further down. A few more comments. Let's welcome X Marks the Spot, who I don't know if that's your daughter. I don't know if that's your wife. Whoever the case be is catching the snow. That's one thing I know. Good to see you, X Marks the Spot. All right, the one and only. Nice hat, Max. Thank you. I think a while back you asked me something about Wu-Tang Clan. I said I would show that to you. So here you go. Here's some Wu-Tang. I've had this necklace since my sophomore year of high school, so I've had this since 1996, which is kind of crazy. And they're my favorite hip-hop group on the East Coast, at least. Let's also welcome GG. What's up, everybody? What's up? Is Will I almost said Will Smith. Will Fix, what's that?
Yeah.
All right. Menace says, tokenized assets equal tokenized private data. And then Jack Thompson wants us to know that Yahweh says Jasmy will be $1 in 2024. Just believe. Well, thank you that. Thank you, Jack. God bless you as well.
The wealth of the wicked is laid up for the righteous.
And then let's read this from Menace. And are we from all three of you guys? The one only says it will take Jasmy. You will take it. Okay, you cash out at 25 cents mainly. I don't know, or you just take it. Menace says he won't sell Jasmy for either one of those prices. I'm not either. GSX gaming thoughts on Singularity Net. I think it's the standout, the great quality project of the Cardano ecosystem. I said that numerous times. We've actually covered it since like 4 cents. I think we've seen it as high as like 70 cents or something like that. Anyway, yeah, I'm aware of that. I'll try to help Will get that taken care of. I've had to mute him a few times. I'm aware of it. So.
Oh, is this making noise over here?
Yeah, a lot of times you bump it, it sounds really scratchy. So I'll have to like mute you sometimes. But yeah, we'll get that stuff sorted out. X anyway.
I'll get a better mic.
Yeah, and it's okay. Mad Scientist says he believes Ripple and Uphold are XRP Bank. I think we read this up earlier. Yep, we did. All right, let's see here. I'm gonna go further down. See if you guys got anything else. We'll get into the last part of what we have, which is Jasmy, and we'll close things out from there. Let's read this from Julie Nesbitt. I thought ISO 20022 goes live in November. Well, technically, it's already been live since March a few months ago, but more of this implementation, I guess you could say, is in November, but full implementation, November 2025. That's the deadline, as Will has mentioned. All right, let's see here. What I say? Something wrong?
No, it's we deadline, start line.
It's deadline, start line,
Yeah,
baby burn
deadline,
line,
start line.
burn baby burn.
I want to say something.
Yes,
I want to say something.
Go ahead. I'll read that later.
I mean, I just had this impulse, and so I had to do it. So the one and only, he said, "Wow, ding, wow, ding." Oh no, wow, ding, wow.
That's like a sound effect. You got
yeah, like let's see. This is backwards, isn't it? So how do I do this? Like, we need to add sound effects to our show. We must do it.
Oh, you mean like a soundboard, like you did back in Moha days?
Yeah, but we'll just do it. You ever watch Whose Line Is It Anyway? When they would do they get somebody out of the audience to do the sound effects.
Yeah, I used to be on an improv team, man. We did that a lot. I miss those days.
So hilarious, man.
Yeah, I miss doing theater and all that. I haven't done it for years, but I do miss it. All right, so let's see here. Let's read this from the one and only Elon Muff. Actually, thank you so much to the one and only. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. All right, so Elon says ISO may be live, but the old style ledger has not been moved over to the digital yet. Can money be moved? Yes, I could buy XRP, send it to Max, and he can. I'm definitely going to convert to USDC. Elon says trillions have not been moved to the ledger yet. Yeah, and that's actually the point I was trying to. I don't know why I couldn't get it to come out like that earlier. That's the point I was trying to make earlier. Well, when we were having our little two-way conversation, remember earlier in the show about this topic?
Well, I have a different view of you talking about the money in the banks of the Bank of International Settlements.
Well, not just that. I mean, that's just one example, but yeah.
Well, yeah, they have piles of money there to do transactions.
Right. And that's my thing. I mean, you look at 52 cents right now, the piles of money to you for transactions on the new system. That's what excites me the most. Not,
Well, what I think, see, they had to have a reserve. They had to have a put and take account with the Bank of International Settlements because it takes, 3 and 5 days to make a transaction. So they are settling, multiple days of transactions sometimes. And it's not on a as demanded system. The money's not as universal. It's piled up for each country. Well, XRP is going to operate completely different than that. They're not going to necessarily have just giant reserves of XRP. It'll be on demand. Instead of piles of money for liquidity, I got a pile over here, so I'll get you some. That's the form of liquidity with the banks now. So with XRP, I think it's on demand. So all of that money that they have there, they can do something else with. They may buy XRP and hold it, but unless they're going to send it, they probably, I don't know what they'll do with it. They're going to buy XRP and hold it. They're increase their balance of supply or use all that money to buy all XRP. Yeah, they could, I guess. Just if I'm a company and I'm sitting here with a pile of money and I'm having to have that pile to settle transactions, and it's taking days, and I'm having the currency fluctuations change. So I have to have more or less money. I have to be prepared. There's nothing really instant about it. In order for me to do transactions, I got to have the pile of money. Now I'm getting ready to just plug in, and that's going to be digital. So I might go, well, I don't know if I'm going to throw all that money in there, because I can just use that to do each transaction, unless I'm wanting to buy XRP for my balance sheet, which is a viable option. So I don't know. Those are things to think about.
I have thought about this. And my thing is, it's like these banks, through Nostro Vostro accounts, they're supposed to hold so much, because if they don't, then as we know, we get to a bank crisis where, these banks, especially here in the United States, are asking for bailouts, right? We talked about this where it's like, this is where Ripple's on-demand liquidity, right? With XRP comes, I get it, guys, Ripple payments. I'm always going to call it on-demand liquidity. But anyway, this is where that comes in, and the beautiful utility of understanding on-demand liquidity, because it incentivizes all of it. I mean, even with the old system, with Swift and the MT messaging system, if you have a big fat cat, big wig banker he's so excited about getting this big account, like probably the biggest account ever, like, from like Augustine Karstens from the Bank of International Settlements, or whoever, anybody like that. Sounds great until they leave, until they want to transfer money, because now that bank is hit with, 60 billion to transfer 10 trillion, because that old system moves real slow. Therefore, it costs a lot, right? But with a new system, with what Ripple provides with XRP and so on, the on-demand liquidity, it's like fractions of 60 billion.
Yeah.
So that tells me that more money, back to what you're saying, more money flows, that creates more supply and demand for these particular technologies, and it incentivizes the big fat cats.
It's true. Might as well push it all in, right?
Right, because now, for one, instead of being a fat cat banker who's like, nah, oh God, Italy's borrowing. This is just example, guys. Italy's borrowing 10 trillion from Spain. Oh God, our bank is gonna be slapped with 60 billion in fees. Now, instead, it's the other way around. Let's incentivize all this, and it's not just Spain to Italy. Then you'll have all this network of workflow all over the place. What does that create for these assets?
It's a good point.
You have like parabolic, crazy stuff happening all over the world. So is Will too far off when it comes to $25,000 overnight? When you look at the bigger, giant perspective of things, it's like, yeah, you know what? I didn't really think of it that way. How could it be 52 cents or 55? Where are we at now? 55? How can it be that? How can it be
all
that?
of the problems in the banking system would be solved by having more money. So shoving it all in XRP as soon as possible. That's why I really think this has got to be. There's got to be some kind of a plan. Or they would already buy why wouldn't they already buy the coin? So there's got to be some kind of a plan. And what was the Max? Do you know? Like there's some kind of a thing. I think because of the lawsuit. I don't know if they're apprehensive or if there's a legal issue selling for XRP to sell directly to institutions, because I've read something, probably a Twitter or something about that's why they bought Uphold. They can send people there. Hey, go get it there. So I don't know. Do you know anything about that, or is that familiar in any way?
I'm looking more into the whole thing, but I think at some point I don't know if I had some examples from earlier. I did. Somebody was sharing. Maybe I retweeted this earlier. If I can pull it up, I'll try to share it to you again, or you guys, I should say. there was an example in regards to Uphold, and it was really good stuff. It was talking about, maybe I can pull it up here in a second. This whole significance. Oh, I found it. Cool. So for one, I like this guy. His name's Abs. He's from a show that a lot of us watch, Good Morning Crypto. He's teamed up with the 3-Tier Warriors Academy and so on. Coach JV, all them, right? God bless them. But here it is, Will. This is in regards to this reminder, right? Because so if you guys aren't caught up on it, Uphold has this whole thing with, Ripple and XRP and so on. And it's just the whole idea of being able to, use XRP in the United States. I mean, that in itself sounds amazing. Absolutely amazing. I mean, just on the surface, if I was just hearing the news about it, I'd be like, heck yeah, man. Like, I've been about freaking time. So this was, I guess you could say, reported earlier today, or maybe it was yesterday. My bad. This guy, Abs, good gentleman. I really like this guy. He reported this, and he says, Uphold posted $1,000 XRP 4 times over the course of how long? Let's jump into this. Look at this. Do you believe Uphold can predict the future? Well, we're not fortune tellers. I don't think they are either. But look how many times since, July 15th, 2022, they asked, what would you do if XRP reached 1,000? Look at this again. November 21st, 2022, what's the first thing you would do if XRP reached $1,000? Uphold again, December 21st, or was it December 9th, roughly? We appreciate the love. If XRP hits 1,000, were you buying? October 20th. I guess that's a 2021. I don't know. Maybe I'm not reading it right, but the point is numerous different dates. What are you doing if XRP does reach 1,000? So, one thing that really stood out about Uphold, I saw Rich at Common Sense Crypto, he talked about this a lot too, was they've always had the back of the XRP army. They even posted that, like, they had the back of the XRP army. They've been behind Ripple from, the thick and the thin of the whole thing with the SEC. So, for one, you do see them consistently mention the $1,000 in XRP. You do consistently see them just having the back of Ripple. And then now this new thing of this partnership in which basically you're now finally able to use XRP in the United States. Like, why isn't this getting more press coverage, in my opinion? I think this is a huge deal. Have you seen a little bit more about this, Will, in regards to the news?
About using it?
Well, here in the United States. Yeah, it's so
yeah.
Lewis Jackson actually talked about this. I think I have on the back page. Maybe I could just chime in on that for a second. Maybe I don't have that, but he goes into like a lot of detail about it, and I don't know. It's just I don't have it at the moment, but it's good
that'll
stuff.
Be some content for tomorrow.
Drill down a little bit.
Yeah. I know it's getting kind of late, but
well, no, I mean you can show this tonight. I was just thinking out loud, I guess. I mean, I'll probably look into it.
I'll get into that as well. I do want to show you guys this. We're going to show one more video. This is good. I meant to show this earlier. Cypress Domanicore, again, please give him a follow over at C Domanicore. He says, listen up. Imagine if you own Bluetooth technology back in the early internet days. This is huge. Cool Cat Crypto talks about stuff like this. Like, he talks about BSV and, certain protocols. I think it's like IPv6, okay, that technology and so on. Dr. Ladid from BSV talks about this. It's a big deal. But in reality, back in the early days of the internet, it's like, Will, you talk about tokenization. How cool would it have been if we could have, been able to actually own a piece of like the original internet? How much it'd be worth now? I mean, oh my God, like we'd probably be billionaires at this point, like not just millionaires, billionaires. So Cypress has this example, and I think it's a terrific example because he has XRP, XLM, XTC, even Bitcoin tagged on this one. I want you guys to listen to this. I know that we're kind of deep into the show, a little bit of extended coverage. We do this on Thursdays because Will has a little bit more time on a Thursday, but this is good stuff, guys. Listen to this perspective, and we'll come back here in a bit. We'll get back into the comments. Really appreciate all you guys. Subscribe to both MAXIMUSCRYPTO and WILL FIX. It's been a pleasure covering this. Yeah, it's been fun.
You guys rock.
All right, guys, here we go.
I can drill down a little bit. When Neha talks about tokens, I don't know if people spend much time thinking about this. So what are we talking about here? What is Bitcoin? What is Ethereum? What are these other Solana, Cardano, these other tokens you've heard about? The way I think about it is they're not very different than HTML, Bluetooth, STMP, other protocols that allow us to use the internet to communicate. They're protocols that allow us to use the internet to do different things, to record where value is and who's transferring value to who. And they all have different properties. Bitcoin has some unique features: program scarcity, anonymity. Ethereum has other features. It's highly programmable. It's used with a lot of smart contracts. It's like an OS, an operating system for value on the internet. Every token relates to a different design of a distributed ledger technology to record value on either a public or a private internet. So they all have, when people come to me and said, I've heard about this great new token, what do you think? And I say, well, I haven't heard about it, but if there's any value, the value's in its network, and what does that network do? The two that have so far stood the test of time quite well is Bitcoin and Ethereum. They're well over 50% of the marketplace. Yes, there are thousands of cryptos out there, but most of those thousands are tiny percents of what's in circulation. So I would say that once again, the scandal of FTX is not implicitly proving somehow that there's no value in Bitcoin, that there's no value in Ethereum. When people trade them, they're effectively trading the future of that network. Imagine if you owned or had a portion of Bluetooth technology. How valuable would that be to you? How about if you had a piece of HTML or the protocol that makes the, email work, STMP? How valuable would that be? That's when you own Bitcoin. And so I think what's happened is the success of owning those instruments have led a lot of fraudsters to come up with tokens that have no underlying value, have sizzle, Dogecoins, and the other that have meme value in the same way that owning some new baseball card might have value for a short period of time, but they have no underlying value. And so
some great examples there. So before we kick it into the uphold segment that I was talking about earlier, what are your thoughts in regards to some of that?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. All I know to say is, yeah, nod my head to that same thing.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So we're going to jump into this part that we're talking about real quick. Thank you to Henry Brown. I don't know if he's watching tonight, but he shared this earlier. So shout out to Sideline Reporter, Mr. Henry Brown. Let's share this with you guys. And it's in regards to the whole thing of uphold. So we're going to pull this up. Let me just get it up here for a second.
I didn't mean to do that, but I was reading his comment.
Yeah, no. Well, we can jump back into that in just a second after we're done this part. So here it is, guys. If you're wondering what we're talking about in regards to this, this was something that Henry shared. Ripple can now offer Ripple payments, formerly known as ODL, on-demand liquidity services in the United States. And getting more into this, it takes you straight to the crypto basic. Goes into this. Ripple can now offer, just like we mentioned, reported basically, I think today, but maybe he posted originally yesterday. Different outlets, of course, get it maybe a day later. But I like this. It says Ripple could be gearing up to offer its Ripple payments, basically formerly known as what? On-demand liquidity services in the United States by leveraging U.S.-based exchange Uphold for XRP sales in the country. This is the start. We talk about like opening the door to, even the biblical stuff, right? The doors you're supposed to walk through, they're going to be wide open for you. Close tight the ones you're not. Well, I think this opens the door way up for Ripple. And this is just one door with Uphold. What about some of the other ones that are going to come here soon? So this excites me because, I was always waiting for this moment when it came to Ripple in the United States, because it's like, man, the United States is just not really embracing all this. But again, it takes one key moment, like what happened with the SEC, to trigger another key thing. But it goes on a little bit more about this. And that is Like it says, the host of Digital Assets Daily, a crypto YouTube channel, just like us, called attention to this tactic in a recent post. His remarks built on a comment from the XRP community member who hinted that Ripple's recent partnership with Uphold aimed to solve its dilemma with Ripple payment sales, of course, in the United States. And like he says, exactly right. XRP sales through Ripple saw through sales at Uphold following a clarified legal guideline of Ripple payments to ensure U.S. capable regulation or regulatory clarity to now, quote unquote, go live in the U.S. markets. You even have David Schwartz chimed in on this. He says, we're still trying to figure this out. We don't currently have ODL related sales with a U.S. nexus, and not being able to do so is not really a huge deal. However, he says we can still do on-demand liquidity in the United States so long as XRP is never sourced from Ripple. This is actually where I do want you to chime in, because I do want to hear your thoughts in regards to this, because I think you talked a little bit about this, not necessarily about, Uphold, but you given your perspective about this before.
Yeah. I mean, this had to do some with the lawsuit. And I'm not real clear on what kind of law would be broken. I guess it's considered a security in that way, because it's between two institutions. But Uphold is an institution designed to sell. So it looks like basically what they're saying is, we're buying Uphold, and that's where you can get your XRP. So it's just like reaching in your left pocket with your right hand. It's still your pocket, it's still your hand.
Yeah, but I mean, I get where you're coming from. It just, I literally said this to myself, like maybe like even last month and many months or over a year or so on. It's just like, when are we finally going to be able to use Ripple's XRP in the United States? And boom, this is one example. Yeah.
Then what we covered yesterday through, was it the atomic swap?
Oh, you're talking about with Jasmy?
Well, with Allcoin. I mean, it was a cross-border type thing.
Well, yeah, that was the example with Jasmy, right? Yeah.
They talked about institutions that don't have the ability to receive, that aren't XRP ready.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, they don't have to be, so they can use exchanges. Well, now they got an exchange.
Yeah, that example was Atomic Swaps. It was also with Interledger, the Ripple connection with that.
Yeah,
that was a fun thing that we did. I that was really nice to cover that. But yeah, perfect example. I'm glad you remember that.
Yeah. Well, some of this stuff, I mean, I don't know. People can respond in the comments. Do all the details make your eyes roll back in your head?
Yeah, I know we have a lot. We covered a lot, but sorry to cut you off.
It's all good.
I want to recognize a guy who originally wanted to beat you onto the show. Shout out to Sean the Cryptist. When he was like, I'm reserving to being the first guest on your show. So sorry about that, Sean. I don't know if you're still watching. But I did want to welcome Sean, the Crypto Smith. He's subscribed to you as well, Will. We used to do some shows. Yeah, we used to do some shows together. It was called Utility Talk now back in the day. But Sean says, hey, Max and Will. And then he goes on to mention, he says, these institutions will purchase XRP via direct sales instead of exchange sales. That's why the price will not be affected. He says, Uphold will facilitate ODL funding. That was the plan all along. Awesome. So that's from Sean. Let's read a couple more comments from your side of the things.
I'm not real sure. I mean, I guess he's surmising. I don't know that we have anything on that. That could be surmised, I suppose. But with all of because I believe it's a legal issue why they don't, why they can't get between Ripple and XRP. Ripple can't get it from XRP. They have to go to an exchange. That's a legal issue. I don't think they would risk it at this point. It might have been the plan, but they've had to change it. because it just, stifles everything, right? We've been stifled for a few years. But so I don't know. It could be, though. I mean, I really don't know.
Well,
But I don't think
yeah.
they're going to be taking that kind of risk.
Anything that Sean the Crypto Smith, gives perspective in regards to his point of view on Ripple, he's been following it more years than I have.
Oh, sure.
When he covers that, he follows it very closely.
Well, he may know something I don't. I definitely don't know everything.
Well, I wasn't saying that, but anyway.
No, but it's still true.
Okay. Let's see here. Let's welcome Elliption Princess. Welcome. Sometimes I wish I had more to invest. Yeah, we all do. Let's welcome Angel Chicago, XRP all the way. Thank you. Mr. W, you don't sell to anything. That's why you simply just invest in appreciating assets. Keep a little cash aside for emergencies. And I don't know, I think we're close to the bottom. So hold on a second. Let's just read it, maybe a couple more. Let's read this from GG. Well, the SEC and Ripple are in the penalty phase, so U.S. institutions will have to wait until that's done. Ralph Atkinson, I think it's worth 9.3 ounces of gold. All right. And of course, Corey, I didn't mean to skip yours. AI and healthcare will be huge. I agree.
Yes.
We are now going to get to the very last bit of our coverage. It's not a lot. It is in regards to Jasmy. Let's pull that up for a bit. And here we go. So on this particular one, we want to give a shout out and thanks to the one and only Mr. Neo X Tricks once again. I'm just going to close out some of these tabs real quick. All right. So let's just jump right into it. Here we go. Straight from Neo X Tricks. Please give him a follow over at Bana A17. I love the statement he has here. He says he always knew it. His assumptions, or his old assumptions, right? He says that Jasmy would surpass all expectations by launching its own Internet of Things chip, IoT chip. The merge of cutting-edge technology in this new generation of chips promises a bright future for industry. What's he talking about? Well, look what it says. Establishment of a base to promote IoT technology development and business expansion in the Asian region. Developing IoT chips, modules, partnering with companies, with product development, production capabilities, and promoting the construction of sales channels. I mean, at the end of the day, we talk about mass adoption. How about actually having physical products and then utilizing that product with, for instance, the utility of your native token, as in Jasmy? Is that such a bad thing? I don't think so, Will, right?
No, XYO does something to that effect.
Yeah. Getting into a little bit more about this, he's got some other good info for us. Neo X Tricks talks about, for instance, Jasmy is continuing with its expansion plan, and they are, right? We see that with this, this layer 2 solution they're going with, AI blockchain solution. And, not just, data democracy, also finance democracy that we were literally talking about on the Tuesday show. But, yeah, like it or not, they are doing that. I like how he says, like it or not. Some of the people are like, oh, they should just stay with the original plan and not follow that white paper. I just thought that was absurd. I think that's ridiculous, but difference of opinion. The company plans to establish bases, of course, in the United States and Asia. They have, remember, guys, the office in Silicon Valley. Everybody was wondering why Kunitake Ando decided to go with that. That's why. Is to develop its blockchain and IoT tech, or to expand on it, upgrade it, and so on. Asia will be the global launch pad with its partners in the region. Jasmy plans to conduct the following businesses at the newly established base, establishing a base, of course, on the West Coast, hence why I mentioned Silicon Valley, San Jose, San Francisco Bay Area. These alliances in North America is to promote a joint development with companies with cutting-edge tech, such as blockchain, AI, basically take this thing global, right? That's the main thing. On top of that, establishment of a base to promote IoT, the chips like NeoX just mentioned, construction of sales and channels, How about this last part? Global utilization of the virtual currency, Jasmy, JMY, fintech and financial companies to support democratization of data, advocated by Jasmy, are promoting collaboration with just that virtual currencies. Or how about some of these other currencies? Yeah, go ahead.
I said,
Yeah. There's this other one. Shout out to 279. Great, researcher. He says it's crystal clear to him. He's not sure why some people attempt to obscure it and complicate it. I mean, in reality, it's not that complicating if you look more into it. It says IoT representing like Jasmy's doing. AI, Jasmy is Smart Guardian. These are all different utility layers that you may not be aware of. On top of that, we have was it SKC Smart Knowledge Communicator, right? Or Secure Knowledge Communicator. And solution services, just like Budget, they have teamed up with Sony. How much more evidence do you need? Some people doubt these partnerships and so on. It's extremely transparent. The reason why they did not disclose it fully is to aim for community-driven involvement, where not everything relies on them, making the project decentralized. Their goal is to have users in control of the platform, building and voting rights, right, governance, and so on, while they only collect fees for maintaining the services. I mean, at the end of the day, you have to have some kind of money flow to fund some of this stuff. As you can see here, check this out for a second, just in case you don't, believe it. He has highlighted some of these key things. Talks about specifically Sony claimed that its existing subsidiary would make use of its IoT. That is plain as day, guys. Also AI and solution services to help from global infrastructure that underpins the Web3 area. Conglomerate, been active since 2018. Back in 2020, started piloting blockchain-powered platforms for Japanese pop, J-pop groups, and Sony Music. Sony joins long list of Web3 blockchain crypto king Japanese firms. I wonder who that could be. And even when we jump more back into this, because some people still don't seem to get it, or they're the naysayers, and that's what comes with the territory. Jump to this next page. I'll blow this up for you guys a little bit more. Actually, I want on that one. It says, for instance, this journey of Kunitake Ando, honorary chairman of Budget, former executives of IBM. I mean, think about IBM. IBM Japan. What has IBM, integrated when it comes to, for instance, Jasmy? You have Hyperledger Fabric or Hyperledger Basu. We cover this. Sony and global other high-tech companies. One of Hbar's co-founders is Michael Corver, bilingual American businessman, formerly based in Tokyo, who is currently involved in the company as an advisor. That is the U.S. plug to where? Silicon Valley. Budget's offices, look where it's mentioned. 7 global branches: Japan, the United States, Sweden, Finland, Netherlands, Singapore, Bangladesh. Now, this part I will blow up for you guys, just in case some of you guys forgot about this. Let's have a refresher for a second. Why are people dismissing the Budget clients? There it is. Their clients. Who's mentioned here? Jasmy. Who's also mentioned here? Qualcomm. GMO. But this gets more impressive when we get to the next page. Check out this next page for a second, guys. Let's jump back to this for a second. Here it is, plain as day, from Budget. Refresh the page. In case people forgot, look at the top of the list. Google, Sony. So both of those are there. Panasonic, Toshiba. I mean, and again, the whole connection to Budget. Budget is the key partner, and it's the subsidiaries. So it's like Budget. It is, man. And people just don't seem to, I don't know. Some people just forget it. They think it's speculative, but I don't know. It's not a lot of coverage tonight, guys. I get it. But the point is, don't forget what you have and why you hold it. Get to the promised land. Let's get there together.
That's right.
Back to you, Will.
That's it. I'm right there with you.
All right. We're going to read the, go ahead, man. Sorry.
We have wealth coming our way.
Yeah. We're going to read the last bit of comments from both channels, and then we're going to close things out because we're at the 3-hour mark, and it's been kind of a long show. Anyway, let's see here. We got GG. Well, the SEC and Ripple are in the penalty phase, so U.S. institution will wait until that's done. CG says they can go to the secondary exchange if they want to buy XRP, but they aren't going to these exchanges. I don't believe they will. Jim Miller, Jasmy into healthcare, secure patients' data. Or not only that, how about this? Secure patents. All right, how many darn patents they have? I'm glad you recognize the whole thing of Jasmy into healthcare, Jim, because they do have a key partnership with the CARE Project. And what do we also know? Who also has a key partnership with the CARE Project is also Ripple. So both Jasmy and Ripple do have that ally. All right, Mr. Jasmy not to scam. He already left. Good night, everyone. Work comes early. At least it's Friday. It does. And then Black with the two biggest tech integrators in the world are Accenture and IBM. Agree with that. Let's read this from Elon Musk. Anyone dealing with IBM are tied to the quantum financial system. That's a great point. Last comment comes from the guy. Great breakdown with info. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate that. Well, with that said, Will, I'll give you the closing comments. Last word.
Yes. Yes, I think we heard a lot of good things about XRP, XLM, and Jasmy. What else did we talk about? That was the three main ones, wasn't it?
Well, a little bit of ISO20022, talk about BlackRock and all that stuff tied in.
Yeah, BlackRock leaking out some stuff, and it's been a good show.
We'll chop it up a little bit too. So
3 hours is a marathon for me.
Yeah, it's a marathon for me too.
I'm older than you. I'm an old man. But I'm ready to go. Y'all ready to go? Close it out.
I'm gonna close it out. So thank you guys. Again, y'all have a good night, and please make sure you smash the like on the way out. Live in Riches says thanks, guys. Thank you, Live in Riches. We do appreciate that.
Did y'all know that in Star Trek, when they did this, that this is what the priests would do? Did y'all know that was a Jewish thing? William Shatner, a Jew. Leonard Nimoy, a Jew. That they were live long and prosper is the Jewish blessing, and they introduced that to who was the maker of it. His name's slipping my mind right now, but he liked it, so they were actually blessing each other.
No, that's super cool. I'm sure Jack Thompson would appreciate that. I know that he's always telling us shalom and stuff like that, talking about Yahweh, and anyway.
Yeah, man. Yeshua. Jesus.
I'm gonna go ahead and
I bless y'all. So we'll bless you like this. Now it has nothing to do with Mork and Mindy's Nanu.
Oh yeah. Little known fact, what was it? Fonzie had a dream about Mork about Mork from Planet Orc. And then that's how it started the spin-off of Mork and Mindy. I don't know if you knew that. Anyway.
Oh yeah, it was originally just a spot on Happy Days, right?
Yeah, but I mean that's how it originally came in.
Okay.
Fonzie, the Fonz, right? Coolest guy ever, right? One of the coolest guys ever. Who doesn't like the Fonz? Anyway, he had that dream, and then it was a big hit, and then they just went with it. But in reality, Mork and Mindy was like only 4 seasons.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like
yeah, we watched it all the time. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I love all the shows, man. Great shows. Better times. Anyway. All right, guys. We're gonna close it out. Blackwood, thanks for being Cody Core. I guess showed up too late. That's all right. Good to see you. Jen, incredible content. Thank you both. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you guys.
Jen.
Makes it all worthwhile. So we'll
right.
leave you be, and we'll say Alvita Zane and Arrivederci and whatever you want to say.
All right. Good night. God bless you.
Yep. God bless you guys. Have a great night. We're going to end it right now. Let me hit the button.